We are in rainy Regina for the final game of Week 15 and talk about two teams going in opposite directions. At 10-2, the Riders, who won 5 of their last 6 games, scored the league's best record, while their opponent tonight, the Alouettes, are in a free fall, having lost 5 in a row. They meet next here on TSN.
Could he be the last hope for the Montreal Alouettes? McLeod Bethel-Thompson comes back as a starter for this team. He hasn't performed too well yet, but today is another day and another opportunity to do just that.
There are many who say the Saskatchewan Roughriders have the best defensive line in the CFL. And their best defensive lineman, and maybe this guy, Malik Carney. When we talk about defensive players of the year, he has to be in the argument, regardless of who you cheer for.
Trevor Harris has been turning back the clock this season, and he's staring down a milestone tonight. The 39-year-old's next touchdown pass will be the 200th of his career. And with that, we welcome you here inside the TSN studio. CFL on TSN time in the second game of our doubleheader. Thanks for joining us, Laura Dyke and Enoch Mwamba, as well as Milt Stiegel. And the Riders already have a reason to celebrate. Haven't even started the game yet. With the Winnipeg Blue Bombers losing yesterday and with the Elks losing earlier today, that means the Riders have become the first team to lock up a playoff spot. Implications for Montreal as well, as the Argos hot on their heels. But as we said, reinforcements are on the way in terms of the quarterback position. Milt?
Right, yes. McLeod Bethel-Thompson steps in, and they're happy to have him back. I mean, of course, they would love to have Davis Alexander back, but they needed somebody back with some experience. James Morgan just couldn't get it done, and now McLeod Bethel-Thompson has a great opportunity to get it done, and he has a great opportunity in front of him. Saskatchewan Roughriders are a great team, but their 2 starting cornerbacks are out. They're starting one guy, Benny Sapp, who's never played a CFL game before. The other guy, Exuma, he's been in the league for a while, but he's mainly been a special teams player. So McLeod Bethel-Thompson, these Montreal Alouettes have a great opportunity to win this game and stop this 5-game losing skid.
Yeah, and for McLeod Bethel-Thompson, Mill, he's going to have to play composed, and he shouldn't be trying to do too much. He's got to take what the defense gives him. This man right here, Tyson Philpott, is going to have to play a key role. When he is at his best, and it's been hard for him to do that and get going this year between injuries and backup quarterbacks, it's been hard on him. But he's going to have to be the outlet for McLeod tonight if they're going to have a good game tonight.
The Alouettes offense needs his return badly. Have been averaging just 14 points per game during this losing skid. Didn't score a touchdown last week, and now they take on the Riders, who've been allowing 21.5 points per game. We'll get the Week 15 finale underway next.
Go ahead and dust your shoulders off. It's gonna be a long fight. Go ahead and dust your shoulders off. It's gonna be a long night. Come on. So go ahead and dust your shoulders off. It's gonna be a long fight. Go ahead and dust your shoulders off. It's gonna be a long night. Come on.
Toronto Winkler of Calgary, Alberta, this is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If a kickoff is returned for a TD, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 are returned, you could also win $1 million. Lots of luck to you as we turn it over to Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter.
We wrap up Week 15 on the schedule with a wet one at Mosaic Stadium between the Alouettes and the Riders. It's been raining all day here in Regina, but not even that can put a damper on a 10-2 start to the Riders season. The Alouettes, on the other hand, they're desperate. They've lost 5 in a row. They're going to be getting a veteran quarterback today.
Quite the journey for McLeod Bethel-Thompson when you look at the 5 different leagues he's been in, but 100 games in the Canadian Football League tonight for McLeod Bethel-Thompson. He comes off the injured list a little bit early. Decision between Jason Moss and the quarterback 3 weeks early, as a matter of fact. And Malik Carney on the defensive line for Saskatchewan is going to try to make them regret that decision and get in that backfield as much as he can tonight.
Corey Mace and his Riders have won 6 of their last 7. They are also 5-0 against the East, and they've already clinched a playoff spot. That's how good the first 14 weeks have been for the Riders. Not so much for Jason Moss. 2-5 versus the West. They are 3-2 on the road this year, so maybe a bright spot there and something to build on for a Montreal team with this crossover looming, desperate for a victory today. Riders won the toss, deferred. Alouettes will have the ball to get us started here at Mosaic. Thank you very much for joining us. Slaughter kicks it off, and we are underway. Letcher will take it just inside his own 15. Sloppy one down there today, and he'll return it just outside beyond the 30. And our first look at MBT.
5 different leagues, 16 different training camps. When you count up all the NFL stops for McLeod Bethel Thompson, was in Edmonton last year. He is 1-4 in starts for Montreal this season. One of those wins on the road in Calgary, that win in his 5 starts, but comes off 3 weeks early off the 6-game injury to stabilize the quarterback position.
You mentioned his 100th career game. He's 2 touchdowns away from 100 as well. They'll start it on the ground. Tice pushing it ahead. Pretty good pickup on first down for Travis Tice in this Montreal offense.
Well, we showed you Malik Carney and Shane Ray's on the other side, so those 2 tackles, Nick Callender and Jamar McCloster, are going to have their hands full, but that's the key. You want to be challenged. You want to break a losing skid, go against one of the best teams in the league and try and shut them down. And Tyson Philpott comes back in game 2 from his injury. Usually when you're hurt, especially a muscle pull, it's not the first game back that you really feel comfortable. It's the second. This is the second for Tyson Philpott.
He had 8 targets last week. Tice is down. He hit the first carry of the game. Philpott 8 targets last week, 4 catches for 34 yards.
Didn't look like when we watched it live there was anything unusual about this. You see that Roland Milligan comes in.
He's trying to get off, but ends up going down. They do have Stevie Scott dressed. Different style of back compared to Travis Tice. Scott 6'1", 218, second year out of Indiana. Second in form for McLeod Bethel Thompson, trying to find a good start on the road here in Regina. Low snap, he's got it, gets it away, down the field, little bit of room. And getting involved early and likely often today, Tyler Sneed.
Yeah, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, with their record and how well they've played throughout this season, cannot just sleep on McLeod Bethel Thompson. He's a rhythm thrower. He throws from the pocket. You let him get in that rhythm, and he could throw for 400 in the blink of an eye.
Sneed leads this team in targets, receptions, yards, big plays, yards after the catch, second down catches. Now they'll go back on the ground this time to Stevie Scott. Let's take a look at this Riders D. A bit of a juggling act today.
Yeah, in the back end. We'll get to that in a sec. Malik Carney, though, he's in that race for the top spot in the sack department. 8 is the leaders. One of them here tonight, C.J. Rivas. A lot of controversy around that hit. A lot of people talking here, but in the secondary, Kerfalak Zume will play in one corner. It's his first start on defense in Canadian football, as is Benny Sapp. That's his first go at it, too.
Zume's played 88 games, but he's never started. Heavily involved on special teams. A deflection at the line, and that one will fall incomplete and bring up third down.
Yeah, so Kerfalak Zume has played, as you mentioned, 88 games. He's got a lot of experience in Canadian football. He's got a Grey Cup ring, but he hasn't started on defense. This is his first start tonight. And then you go to that other side, and Benny Sapp out of Northern Iowa played also in Minnesota in college. A little bit of time with the Packers, a little bit of time with the Falcons. Is this first game in the Canadian Football League. McLeod Bethel Thompson's going to test them, you can bet.
Maltos Diaz going to get a test right now. 53-yard attempt in the range, straight on. Got it just enough to clear the bar, and Montreal puts points on the board. His league-leading 38th field goal of the season. This one from beyond 50 early at Mosaic. Trevor Harris last week, Banjo Bowl, didn't put up huge numbers, but came away with a win, and that's a sign of a good team.
Yeah, didn't turn the ball over, didn't throw a touchdown either, but it is a sign of a good team when you're well balanced and you can win in different ways. Your quarterback doesn't have to throw for 350 every night. Sometimes the defense will make a couple plays, and they certainly did in that one.
Riders 10-2, Trevor's 9-2. Jake Mayer did pick up a victory in his one start. This drive will start on the Rider 40. And no surprise on the ground, A.J. Alouette. Looks like about a yard on the play. Let's take a look at the Saskatchewan offense.
Well, a little last-minute juggling. Joe Robustelli is off the roster. And up front, you're going to see Jamarcus Hardrick, 149th game for him. But here's where the juggling starts. Duncan Busby goes out to Dante Myers' spot. Myers goes to Robustelli's spot, and he will start at wideout on the same side with Keyshawn Johnson. We'll see if that combination can put up some numbers with Duncan Busby on the other side. Some of the changes on the defense forced Coach Mace to change some offensive personnel.
Harris gets it started. Joe's got about 7. They'll take them up to third and a couple.
Second start for Joe since returning from his tryout with the Colts. You just sit down, get him started. Just 8 targets and 3 catches in on his return to Saskatchewan.
They're a couple yards shy of the first down. Aren't going to mess around here early. Couch will come out to kick it away. He's averaging just over 47 yards per punt this year. Letcher waits back just inside his 15 for Montreal. And some movement here. And it was a 3rd and 2, and that could change things.
Offense is already walking out. Coach Moss wants the officials to go to the replay center to confirm who moved first, which they can do, and they're probably listening, and he's listening live now.
Tim Croker right now with a voice in his headset.
Offside. First down, Saskatchewan.
Tough to be drawn off like that early in a game like this.
Offside. Montreal number 98.
I'm wondering if Logan Ferlin moved the ball. It looked like Dylan Wynn was trying to make the argument there that the ball moved and he was positioning it in a certain way, and it was enough that should be the indicator for the D-line to move. He was certainly trying to
his case, wasn't he?
He was certainly trying to make his case.
Harris back out there. Extra blockers on the line. Harris is going to be throwing. Finds Tommy Neild, and that looks like a first down for the Riders.
Well, he was really contributed since joining the Riders. Tommy Neild coming over, and with some of the injuries to like Keon Schaefer-Baker and Sam Emlis, who are close to returning apparently. Tommy Neild has filled in nicely, and 3 touchdowns for him already in just a few games.
Yeah, and a 74% catch rate as well, which is among the highest on the club. Joe and Keyshawn Johnson out to the right for Harris. That's where he looks. That's where he goes, and it's a Joe pushed out of bounds by Lorenzo Burns. But they're getting the big kid involved early.
And both recognized one thing. Receiver and quarterback recognized that the blitz was coming. The line of scrimmage was jam-packed, so it was man defense, and Lorenzo Burns was playing off. He was playing cushion technique. In other words, giving a Joe about 3 or 4 yards of cushion, and then was going to break on the ball. Recognized by Trevor Harris, and completion.
2nd and a couple. Harris, pressure in his face, and has to heave it away as he's taken down at midfield by Johnson.
He just shoots the gap.
So 3rd and 2, and they will settle for a field goal attempt of their own. Bothered and improving 70% on the season. This is a 46-yarder just inside that right hash. Couch to hold. That kick is up, and it is just good. Snuck it in.
He makes it interesting. He has made it interesting all year long.
Turn that one back in a little bit, I think.
And has it been a topic of discussion in this province?
Has it?
But he sneaks it in. Wow.
We're tied at 3 early at Mosaic. Welcome back to Regina. Montreal has lost 5 in a row. It's not just on the quarterback injuries, but it certainly doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. When you're down to, you know, your 4th string, 5th string quarterback, Davis Alexander is their starter. This team is on a 5-game losing skid. Their starting quarterback does not know what it feels like to lose in the Canadian Football League. He never has. He's never lost a game as a starter. And the last time we talked to Jason Moss about it is that he told us he didn't want to put him on a definite schedule. It's a muscle pull, so he wants to make sure it's 100% healed before he puts him back on the field and get ready for the stretch drive. Unfortunately, with this losing skid, I'm wondering, as the weeks go on, does that schedule get turned up a notch? Because if McLeod Bethel-Thompson can't stabilize the position here tonight, they've still got the issue.
Second and 2 for MBT. On the ground again. Scott took a big bump from Milligan, but he's got a first down for Montreal.
Now, and you know, it's not all on James Morgan either, a guy with very little to no experience in the Canadian Football League and was kind of thrown into action when Caleb Evans got hurt. Cameron Dukes, as you saw in that graphic, has a little bit of experience, but you know, James Morgan, I think, has a bright future. He just has to learn the game, the nuance.
He's got an arm.
He does.
For this league, for sure. He's got to find the reps. Kyle Bethel-Thompson throwing here, down the field, wide open, drops it in there, down to the 10, touchdown Alouettes! Philpott's got his 4th of the season, a deep strike, and Montreal goes on top.
Coming off a muscle injury, you usually have to go to that second game to get the full potential till you feel comfortable. You feel like you can go ahead and stretch out and go after a football if you're a receiver. And that first game back, you're tentative. You're not sure. You don't want to push it. You want to run too fast and maybe injure yourself again. So Tyson Philpott in game 2, he lets it out, opens it up, and gets in behind coverage. You knew they were going to test the corners. There's test 1, and it goes to the Alouettes.
First career start for Exume, and he was the guy trailing Philpott on that play. We'll see if that continues to open up opportunities throughout this game for McLeod Bethel-Thompson, who's now thrown 99 career touchdowns. 3-play drive, 70 yards. This was a 59-yard strike to Philpott. 10-3 Montreal.
Kerfala Exume is in a one-on-one and press technique up at the top of your screen with Tyson Philpott, and he makes a cardinal mistake in man-to-man. Stop it here. He is looking at the quarterback. He's looking as if it's a zone look back at the quarterback while his man gets away from him and gets deep down the field. Little inside move from Tyson Philpott. His eyes were in the wrong place, Exume's eyes, and Philpott gets in behind him, and he can't catch him after that.
Dropped in there nicely by McLeod Bethel-Thompson. That's his 5th passing touchdown of the year. Now Myers on the return. A nice burst. Ball pops out. Alouettes are on it. Richard hops on the loose ball. We'll have to find out if Myers was down before the strip. What a turn of events here at a quiet Mosaic.
Well, for Myers, first of all, that burst was excellent through the hole.
Ruling on the field as the ball carrier was down by contact. First down.
There's the burst. Mario Alford helping on the blocking up front. Is the ball out? The knee was on the ground before the ball comes out. No, clearly.
Yeah, definitely. So the Riders offense will take to the field. Be a first down on their own 42.
But with the weather conditions tonight, ball security has got to be the priority.
That's probably where it impacts the game in the biggest way.
No question.
With the rain that we've seen all day here in Regina. Harris down 7. Throwing quickly, and that is taken away. Intercepted. There's a flag on the play. Wesley Sutton steps in front of that. If this holds up, that's his second interception of the year, but we've got to see what this flag is.
Yeah, the question is, did he arrive a little bit early? It's a slant from the right of your screen. Little play action there. And
pass interference, Montreal.
Yeah.
It's automatic first down.
So this is the slant. Sutton's going to break on it here. And does Sutton get there just a little bit early? Here comes the break. He's coming up. Yeah, ball's here. There's the contact. It's pass interference.
Roller coaster of emotions for fans watching at home with the almost fumble. Montreal gets it. The almost pick. Montreal almost had it there.
Montreal is challenging the ruling of pass interference.
Jason Moss wants to look at it again, but
we've already looked at it.
Yeah,
those suits.
I don't think there's any question here. I mean, it just, the ball had not arrived and the contact in the back was made. I think, you know, Coach Moss, in fairness to him, is looking at it as he can play the ball too. You just can't go through the receiver to play the ball.
And is that what we saw there?
I think that's what we saw. We'll see what the replay center says. Nice break, good reaction. The former DB in me says I don't think there's ever should be pass interference. You know, the end of the play, it looks clean. But again, if you see it from this angle and you see that first contact there, now they are probably going to say, we're not going to slow it down to distort the decision here. And if you watch it in real speed, Sutton's just saying, I broke on the ball and I got it. I got there first. So it's a race to that spot. You know, this might be closer than we think in this discussion, because first of all, they're taking a while.
Montreal is reacting like they're going to have the ball.
Yeah, I just, you know, the more I look at it, the rule of thumb is they don't want to slow it down and distort the decision. Oh, here we go.
All right, let's find out what's happened.
After review by the replay center, the ruling on the field is overturned. The result of the play is an interception by Montreal, and it's first down.
Yeah, so the more I watched that, the more it looked like if you ran that in normal motion, not slow motion, they are meeting where the ball arrives, and Sutton gets there first. And that's why there was no flag, or they overturned it.
Excellent challenge from Moss. That'll get into the hands of Mack. And he is wrapped up by Thurman. It's his first catch of the ball game.
You know, because if you took every throw and you slowed it down in super slow motion and saw where the ball was and where the contact sort of begins, there would be a lot of penalty flags.
We don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. And the more I saw that, I thought, you know what? That was a race to the ball, and Sutton won the race.
2nd and 5 for Montreal. Phil Potts. Can he find some space? He's going to be drilled out of bounds. And that'll bring up 3rd and 4. This would be about another 53-yarder, which Maltos Diaz has already connected on today, and they're going to trot him back out here for another deep shot.
Yeah, the last kick barely went over the bar, and I think with Mario Alford going back there is probably why the hesitation from Jason Moss, just looking at it thinking, these long ones, if you miss them, it's a dangerous returner.
Oh, this will be 54. There's a lot of rain here today, but not much wind. He's 6 for 6 from beyond 50, hit from 58 earlier in the year. Maltos Diaz puts that one up. Doink! Off the upright, had the leg, couldn't sneak it inside the bar, and the crowd in Regina loves it. Almost snuck it in. Not quite. It has been an excellent start to the season for the Riders, and when things are going well, new traditions will be formed. For more on a new one, let's send it down to Britt Dort.
Yeah, you can bet this tradition is going to probably continue given how this season's going with it. It started with the fact they just wanted a sign to walk out and tap on their way out to the field for games. And then Corey Mace and GM Jeremy O'Day said, what about if we brand the sign? Which I have to say, very Sasky of them. So you can see the marks on it. And after every win, whoever gets the game ball, they earn the right to brand the sign. Now, Trevor Harris did tell me, if you look closely, his branding pretty straight. He did say a couple of the guys, they're not so good. The lines are a little crooked.
I like it. That's a unique one. I don't know if I've seen that anywhere else.
I love it.
Hey, when in Rome, right? There's one thing you're going to do here in Saskatchewan. Why not brand a little bit?
Well, there's 10 of them up there already.
We'll hand it off. Good patience from A.J. Ouellette, waiting for something to open, and he got 9 on the play.
Yeah, it really was. He had a couple of pulling linemen come out from the backside of the offensive line. They're gonna pull and come across and get in front of them, but it took a bit of a second to get there. You know, they are the big guys, and they're going to come across on the pull, and so he's just going to be patient. Who gets the kick-out block? There it is. Once that kick-out block lands, Joe trying to pretend, pull a defensive back with him.
Tommy Stevens into the game on the 2nd and 1. Injured Alouette went down right before the snap. Crowd will give them the jeers. That's Richards, who's actually tied for the league lead in special teams tackles with his own teammate, Gagne.
18 leads the entire league. They're in a tie on their own team. 36 combined.
Trying to stretch out a possible cramp here for Richards. His 4th year out of Syracuse.
And I did a quick count of the Alouette defense.
Yep.
And there were 12, so it wasn't. I think the crowd thought that was a. They had a bit of a personnel issue. Now, did someone sneak off? Let's take a look at the left side of your screen, and they're counting them up, and they're taking a look, and then they're waving somebody. There goes Sutton. Sutton takes off, and then oh, I'm hurt. You know, that's.
But he's okay.
Yeah, they had an extra guy on the field and avoided a penalty there.
Sneaky boys.
And Tyrell Richards doesn't start on defense, so he can wait 3 plays.
He can be that guy. He's the designated go down if we need you guy. Stevens, there was early movement there for sure.
saying, against Montreal.
Either way you break that one down, it'll be a first down.
Montreal defensive line. 5-yard penalty. Makes them first down.
First down for the Riders. Another injured Alouette on the field right now.
He said the call was the entire defensive line. I thought the Riders moved early and moved first, but it looked like the line, according to their angle, the line was lined up offside.
Yeah, on that look, I think it was Collins on that Riders offensive line who pushed ahead a little bit early maybe as well. This Montreal defense allowing 25.3 points per game. Second fewest yards allowed as well, but they've struggled a bit recently during this slide.
Yeah, you know, I think if you looked at this defense at the beginning of the year, the first 5 games, say, you would rank them as...
After automatic review by the replay center, we have procedure against Saskatchewan number 62. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's second down.
So that was Peyton Collins, who we had...
Well, Peyton Collins, he moved first. There was no question about that. But it sounded like the original call was that the D-line was all offside. They said the entire D-line.
And now a conversation with Corey Mace. The injured Alouette is actually still down on the field. Kenton Arcou.
Yeah.
Big piece of this defense.
Really is. He's you know how we call the tweener, the DB linebacker tweener? We've used that term before. He's the from linebacker to D-line tweener.
You can line him up anywhere.
Yeah. He can, and he really suits this defense, Noel Thorpe's group, really well, because they like to move guys around. They like to drop D linemen into coverage. They like to send secondary players into and bring them up to the line of scrimmage and send them on blitzes.
So it'll be 2nd and 6 instead of originally 2nd and 1. Then it looked like it might be a first down for the Riders, but we'll back it up. 2nd and 6 from their own 34 here for Harris. Looks to his right, gets it away quickly, and that will be a first down. Took a little while to get there, but in the end, they do. Myers.
Yeah, basically the ball to the wide field against the zone, just inside cut. That extra effort after the catch. See how he gets down low and makes it tough for Sankey to get to him. Doesn't have a real good tackle angle, and then picks up the first after the catch.
Run! Back on the ground, Alouette found some space in the middle, got a little help from his friends, and pushes it ahead. Let's take a look at this Montreal D.
Isaac Berglund did lead the league at the beginning of the week in sacks with 8 on the season. And then last night, Matthew Betts had 4. So now he's tied with Matthew Betts for the league lead in sacks. Look at Marc-Antoine Duquois in that secondary. There's a guy who loves to blitz.
He's got 4 knockdowns. Doesn't have an interception yet this year. Ajo has to go down, but he's got it right at midfield, and that'll be a first down for the Riders. That's his 3rd catch of the game.
The Riders have, over the last 4 or 5 games, all of which except the Calgary game were wins, they've been slow starters in the first quarter, but second quarter has been huge.
Right back up the middle with A.J. Alouettes. Yeah, just 11 points in their last 6 first quarters for the Riders.
Yeah, it almost feels like Trevor Harris in those first quarters is getting an idea of what he's seeing. He's getting all the defensive pictures in his mind, and then he dissects those pictures and comes out in that second quarter and knows what he wants to do with the football. There are, I think, a plus 61 in points in the second quarter.
They've been down by 10 in each of their last 3 victories. Found a way to come back. That one handed off again. Anderson in the game. He stopped just short, but this will be Tommy Stevens' mop-up duty.
You got to think this Montreal defense for sure, but the entire team is got to be a little bit desperate right now. I mean, this thing is slipping away on them in a big hurry. They had battling with Hamilton for first in the division early in the season, and then this 5-game losing skid is a bit of a tailspin. Now they got most of their starting secondary back intact.
Stevens needs a yard. He's got the yard. Oh, pumps out. Montreal's on it. Dequoy, I believe, hopped on top. Tommy Stevens, mission accomplished on the first down, but could not hang on to the ball.
Yeah, even if it's not pouring rain, if it's been raining and the ball's on the ground before it is snapped, it's got a little slick edge to it. You've got to concentrate and focus on ball security in these kind of weather conditions. And there's Marc-Antoine Dequoy, the safety, who always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Comes up with the fumble recovery.
Forced by the helmet of Richards. Montreal takes over on their own 45. MBT down the field again, drops it in there. He found Philpott again, working against Exume. And that could be a long day for a guy making his first start at corner.
Yeah, and you think that Corey Mace may switch things up. I mean, you see Philpott real tight to the middle of the field, to the hash mark, so he has a two-way go on Exume out there at the corner. No, actually, yeah, it is Exume on the corner. He's in chase position again. But that's a two-way go for Philpott. He can either run the corner route or the post, and he keeps Exume guessing.
128 yards in the first quarter from McLeod Bethel-Thompson. Looks for more here. Dumps it off. Has his fullback Dallaire. Dallaire takes it down. Heavy collision at the 10. Stumbles forward a bit more. That's his 11th catch of the campaign.
Yeah, McLeod Bethel-Thompson wanted more. He was looking deep down the field, but Corey Mays did call that zone look and basically an umbrella coverage to take away any deep threats to the end zone. So McLeod Bethel-Thompson holds the ball, holds the ball, holds the ball. Finally, he's going to pay the price to get it out to the flat, and that's why there's no one there. They've all dropped into the zones.
First and goal for the Alouettes at the end of the opening quarter, already leading by 7. No work from the Riders, 7. MBT hands it off to Scott, and he'll take it down inside the 5. Carney, among others, in on that tackle for the Riders defense, who will look to hold strong as we get set for second quarter action at Mosaic. Montreal trying to snap a 5-game slide. They lead by 7 through 15. Welcome back to Regina, where the 10-2 Riders are trailing 10-3, and 2 turnovers in that quarter.
2 turnovers, that's part of the story. The other part of the story is a veteran quarterback in McLeod Bethel-Thompson stabilizes the position for Montreal first. And then he sees that there are 2 corners for the Saskatchewan Roughriders playing in their first starts on defense. And he said, let's take Tyson Philpott and go ahead and just see how these corners hold up. And he's got him behind him a couple times.
He's not done with that yet, is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah.
And it'll be Sapp's turn at some point on the other side.
Yeah, Benny Sapp starting on the other side. Sales, Campbell, 2 extremely important pieces of this defense unavailable today.
Well, that's 8 interceptions.
2nd and 5 to start the quarter. MBT dumps it off, puts it back down. Sibusu. And it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1.
Well, Jameer Thurman gets the stop, and you can see the rain now in this replay really coming down. But it's a stop on the 1. And Jason Moss is going for it on the 1.
Former Rider, Patterson in at quarterback, trying to push it ahead. Can he get there? Yes! Touchdown, Alouettes. And they go on top 16-3, a silencer here in Regina.
Yeah, no hesitation from Coach Moss to go ahead and get it. And did you get a sense that Shea Patterson had a little extra something in there?
A little bit of juice behind that one, wasn't there?
A little bit of juice, a little bit of the you guys used to be my old teammates juice in that extra effort, the second push, the third push, and it was that last one that he got across the plane.
That was a little, that last one, you saw the look on his face. That's a little former Rider revenge right there. 5 plays, 65 yards, just over 2 minutes. Montreal possibly on the verge of going up 14 here.
Well, those explosives.
Maltos Diaz, oh, he sneaks it in. It's been an adventure in the kicking game so far here this evening. All gas, no brakes, let's go. Take another look at the touchdown.
Take a look at the low man, low leverage wins, but it's just that second and third effort that gets him there. But Jason Moss had the big team out there, the short yardage team, before they placed, like they were close to marking it. There was no decision to be made there. He was going for it.
Well, the Riders find themselves in similar, familiar territory here. I mentioned earlier, their last 3 victories, they've been down by 10 or more. They find themselves down 14, all the time in the world, but a little bit of an uphill battle here. And the rain continues to come down at the stadium. Alford will take it cleanly just outside the 12. And he is wrapped up and taken down by one of the league leaders in special teams tackles, Terrell Richards. There's Gagne. He's the guy who was also tied coming in, and he had to be pushed off the field by a teammate.
Now this is Gagne, a little ISO of him on this cover unit, and when you're up there with 18 special teams tackles, you get double teamed. That's what the special teams looks like every single play for every one of those guys. A 40-yard sprint while you're battling somebody.
Harris tosses it out to A.J. Ouellette. Ouellette will take it up close to the 35.
Now, for the Riders here, you're looking at not deviating too far from your game plan. You've got to keep A.J. Ouellette involved in the offense. Get yourself in second and manageable situations. And then Corey Mace has got to figure out how to regroup and maybe give his corners a little bit of help defensively. Can't give up those explosives any longer.
Ouellette's got 30 yards on 5 carries. He'll step back in behind Harris. And they'll go to him again on the second and short, and secures that ball, pushes it ahead, out beyond the 40, and that's a first down for the Riders.
Yeah, I think over the last 3 games, if there is a cheat code to beating this Montreal defense, it might be to run the ball. I mean, their last 3 games, they've given up 524 yards total.
234 yards against Hamilton last week.
Yeah, and you know, a key to those wins for the opposition. So you know, I think that might be a key to trying to put a dent in this defense.
A.J. Ouellette again on first down, takes it out to the 45, about 4.5, 5 yards of the play.
One of the reasons for that is Noel Thorpe defensively likes to move his guys around, as I mentioned. He'll sometimes drop defensive linemen into coverage. But if you're showing a lot of disguise blitz and then you're dropping out of it, you can sometimes disguise to a point where you're hurting yourself and you're in a bad angle to take your gap.
So you're opening yourself up to the running attack.
Exactly, because you're bailing out. You're not in your stance. You're not ready to take your gap.
Mario Anderson into the game at running back on this play. Harris down the field, and that one behind the intended target. He was looking for a Joe, and that'll bring up third down. And Saskatchewan will be forced to kick it away.
Inside cut, that ball was just way to the outside. Now Joe again just returned. By the positioning of where Trevor Harris threw that football, looked like either he thought a Joe was going to sit down there or he just flat missed him.
Couch from his 30. Letcher takes it. Flag flies, no yards. And Letcher will push it out beyond the 30. MBT with a 17-3 lead as the skies remain open at Mosaic. It's the thrilling end to the race around the country, the season finale of Amazing Race Canada. Tuesday on CTV, stream it the next day on Crave. Can you imagine being racing around the country and they come on the plane like we had today in Calgary when we were connected to Vancouver, says, we have a delay because one of the seats is broken and we have to, with what would be on the line in that race?
Well, then you got to get off and you got to rebook and you got to find,
just a mess. Back on the ground to Scott. Travis Tice started this game, was hurt on the first play, did go to the dressing room in the first quarter. We'll monitor that situation. But it's been Stevie Scott III since then.
Out of Indiana, when he was there, a true freshman, set the true freshman record in 2018 with the Hoosiers with 1,137 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Second year with the Alouettes for Scott. McLeod Bethel-Thompson looking to throw here. Down the field, looking for Mack. And Austin Mack pulls it in just outside the Rider 45.
Well, if we had a hit chart right now and we were just gauging where the ball's being thrown, look for where number 20 is, and that's where all your marks would be. Because whether it be Tyson Philpott in one-on-one situations or this in a zone look, they're going after Exume in his first start on defense into the boundary.
Flags here just as that ball was snapped.
Well, they stopped, but it was another wideout down the field for Montreal, wide open.
We've been told that running back Travis Tice is out for
Montreal
the game.
number 66. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Hope he's okay, but an opportunity for Stevie Scott. Get a chance to get a ton of reps at tailback. Now he better understand the protections too.
Look after your quarterback.
Absolutely. Especially with his D-line, that's front seven.
5-yard penalty puts him back at 1st and 15 from the Rider 51. Another flag. That one's gunned in there. Rambo. First time today we've said his name. And we'll have to see what these flags are. Looks like this is against Montreal as well.
Offside. Montreal number 81. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
That would be Austin Mack, who had that last reception.
One of the coverages that Corey Mays could go to help his corners so that they're not playing soft in a zone look like a cover 3 where the corners are off and deep, is called cover 2 man. I'll explain it as we go on here, but it gives your corner a chance to play tight like that, but also have an over-the-top guy to help you.
Low snap, MBT picks it up, fires it out to Sneed, and Sneed gets a little bit of this penalty yardage back before he's taken out of bounds.
I think that's exactly what Corey Mace just ran there, or a version of it anyway, where you take your corners and you say, continue to play aggressive, get up at the line of scrimmage, but what we're going to do is drop 2 guys deep. So if you do get the go route, you'll have deep help behind you. So don't worry about that. See the 2 guys.
So they are
splitting the field.
but everybody else is...
Well, you can play cover 2 zone underneath or man-to-man, so whatever version that was, but they need to give a little help out there to Exume. So far, so good for Benny Sapp, but they haven't thrown the ball that way.
2nd and 15. Rambo gets it, had to go up for it, breaks a couple of tackles, and comes up just short of the first down, but this will make it interesting for sure.
Yeah, the spot looks like it's about a yard, but...
Oh, it's going to be 2, I think.
Yeah, it is a full 2.
Yeah, so it'll be Maltos Diaz. Thought it might have been closer to 1, but it's going to be a couple. Maltos Diaz 1 for 2 so far. Missed from 54, made from 52. This one will be from 46 to push the lead to 17 here in the second quarter. And that one looks like it was deflected or just straight up hook, bounces past Alford and through the end zone.
May have been an issue in the hold there too. It looked like the ball was spinning almost when Maltos Diaz made contact.
Well, get a points, lead by 15. Here's another look. He's hooked it on a questionable hold, maybe. Yeah. Trevor Harris has been around for a while in a lot of different places, including Montreal. For more on a connection to the Alouettes, let's send it back down to Britt Dork.
Well, I talked to a specific Alouette, Marc-Antoine Dequoy, and I said, what's the toughest thing about covering Trevor Harris? And he said his ability to adjust to defenses. And he used the reference from when he played in Montreal, because apparently he used to tell the DBs, in practice, if you can intercept any of my passes, I'll give you $10 per interception. And Dequoy said, in the first week, I got $20 from Trevor Harris. But he said after that, I didn't see $1 from him the rest of the season. So, guys, looks like this Montreal defense is making some adjustments on Trevor Harris, though.
Well, we were just saying, we think Harris has got to find a way to sort of get this offense going. He's just 5 of 8 for 42 yards and an interception. Looks to throw here, down the field. Myers broken up. Getting there just in time, Lorenzo Burns.
Well, Trevor that time on that drop had to keep Marc-Antoine Dequoy, first of all, down the middle so he could throw it outside. He doesn't want the safety to start drifting to the left. So he gets that accomplished. He holds Dequoy, makes him take that first crossing route in his face, and then gets out there to Myers, who was in behind coverage. But Burns closes quickly. Well played to not get the PI.
So 2nd and long for Harris. Joe at the 50. He's got it, and it's a first down for the Riders. Team leading 4th catch of the game. That's best he's looked since coming back.
That's what can give you a spark. That's the type of play, because it's a precision throw. There's traffic in the middle. Your receiver comes up, you get the first down. He's in that soft spot behind the linebackers. That's the type of play that can give your offense a little bit of traction.
From the Montreal 44. Roulette trying to cut it back. Manages to push it down inside the 40. Wasn't a ton there, but he made something out of it anyway.
Mark Mueller, the offensive coordinator for the Riders, is going to have to a couple of times have Trevor Harris pull the ball on this play. I mean, it's been working well on first down, getting 4, 5, 6 yards on those plays, but occasionally, to keep the defense honest, you got to pull it.
Alouettes showing heat here. Harris is going to adjust. We'll see if Montreal backs off. And they do. They only send 3. Harris with time. Down the field. Drops it in there. Moves to the end zone. Touchdown, Riders. Keyshawn Johnson's 4th of the year. And then the 200th in the career of Trevor Harris.
200th touchdown pass, and boy, did the Riders need it tonight. Keyshawn Johnson, tremendous concentration, because there's a DB, I think it's Dequoy, that cuts underneath this, and he had to concentrate because I don't think he could see it. Dequoy cuts underneath and just misses it. Keyshawn Johnson comes up with it. Tremendous concentration.
Critical drive for the Riders to find some momentum. And Harris finds Johnson. Lother puts it up and through, and it's an 8-point game. 4 plays, 70 yards, touchdown, 200 for Trevor. First of the day. Hill Country loves it.
Keyshawn Johnson send out his greetings and show you how he got this touchdown. Here he is right here. And first of all, he needs Dante Myers to help him pull Ento away from coverage. And he knows the safety's coming in and the concentration is right here. Here comes Dequoy. And he cuts right in front of the vision of Keyshawn Johnson. It happens quickly, but that split second, how many times have you seen a guy drop it when just the flash of a hand is in his vision? Not that time for Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, not that guy. 3rd in the league in receiving yards is Keyshawn. Here's Letcher wrapped up and taken down on the return. Nick Weeb with the special teams tackle for the Riders.
200 touchdown throws for Trevor Harris in his great career. And on pace for his 2nd best total in passing yards in his career. At over 5,000 in 2018 with Ottawa.
20th passing touchdown of this season. Has his team within 8. McLeod Bethel-Thompson, he's had a nice day so far. Dumps it off. Was that bobbled? I'm not sure if he held on to that.
He was fighting it.
Not how you draw it up.
Yeah, David Dollar is out on the flat. This is just a check down, get it out of the quarterback's hands to...
Rolling on the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
I like the somersault.
That was...
Hey, for flair, drama.
Well, we get 10 for artistic... Yeah, that was trying to sell it.
You know, I would have just given him the catch because of that.
He's having fun with that. Davis Alexander, that. Okay, I see it.
Chatting with his fellow fullback, Jacob Mason, on the sideline. Both of those guys get involved in the offense a little bit.
Yeah.
Sporadically.
And a lot when it comes to protections.
That was just the 2nd incompletion of the ball game for Bethel-Thompson. Pocket stayed pretty clean so far. He's going to have to take off here. Look at MVT. He's got a 1st down for Montreal. Doesn't do it often, but he gets the job done there.
Well, and this time the coverage on that wide side with Exume was excellent. They both receiver and DB slipped, but they slipped together and he was covered. So downfield, the adjustments are being made to try and help the young corners out. And because McLeod Bethel-Thompson didn't see an open receiver, he just took off and got the first on his own. Got those pebbles up in the grill.
officials sorting something out here before first down.
Timer, please reset the game clock to 4-4-1. Thank you.
Shane Ray on the sideline. 5 sacks this year. 3 Riders defensive linemen in the top 10. Mike Rose just outside of it.
This D-line is on pace for 51 sacks. That's 13 more than last year.
Nothing tonight, though. Scott held on to, taken down at midfield. This 7th carry of the game.
Nice run off the left side. That's probably his best of the night so far, getting his feet underneath him. 15 carries coming in, so it's not his first touch tonight.
Got 7, so second and pretty manageable right at midfield for Montreal. Back to Scott again. A nice cut, pushes it ahead. Ball pops out, but Montreal saves the day and hops on it. That'll be a first down for the Alouettes.
Well, and now he's bested his best run, because that's a great jump cut to get outside and around the edge, and that's C.J. Rivas definitely strips the ball, and the ball is out. But Stevie Scott reels it back in.
Good job reaching out with that right arm and pulling it in to safety. He's got 30 yards on 7 carries. No work from the 48. Now they'll get it to Philpott. And he uses that left edge to come around. And he is close to a first down. Looks like he's got it.
Interesting play calling from Jason Moss here to, take some deep shots, get a couple of explosives, exposing the inexperience at corner, and then not going right back to the well right away. Go back and get the run game involved as the Corey Mace decisions on defense start to go to coverage in the back end and helping the corners in the secondary. He runs the ball.
Bethel Thompson on the run to his right, drops it in there to Mack. He bobbles it, and it's picked up by Exume. Rambo gets in there. Now, is that going to be a fumble? Mack have that long enough.
By the look of Austin Mack, that's a very guilty look he had on his face.
MBT on the run
on the
down
field,
the field.
Incomplete pass. Second down.
They're going to say it's an incomplete pass.
No, he didn't have control
on the field.
Milt wouldn't let us practice this. Okay, catch with my eyes. Well, that was an easy one.
Oh, there you go.
Should I try and throw it back?
Nope.
This is going to be embarrassing. Oh, that was better than I thought it would be.
One more time.
No, straight fire coming up at halftime.
Oh.
Yeah!
No shortage of fun back in the studio. Halftime just around. Lots to discuss from this first half. 250 yards of offense for Montreal. They only had 169 total in the first meeting of the season. This is over, and they'll say incomplete. Sneed was trying to get a foot in there.
That's the first attempt to test Benny Sapp III, who was also a late add to the roster starting at the field corner for Tavon Campbell. And does the toe, well out of bounds.
So back to Maltos Diaz. 1 of 3 tonight. 92.5% on the year. The last one, the hold, did not help from Zima. This will be 47, just inside that left hash. And that is up And no mistake about it this time. Maltos Diaz back on track for the Alouettes. The lead's 11. So Montreal's offense this season averages 21.6 points per game. That's the lowest total in the league. And they've hung 21 on what many people call the best defense in the league in the first half. Now missing a couple of key corners in this game are the Riders, but it looks like they're going to have to find a way to outgun the Alouettes in this one.
Amazing what a veteran quarterback can do for you.
Myers had to climb the ladder to get it. By the time he came down with it, Beverette, among others, were there to make the play.
You can see Trevor Harris go right over to Myers and say, yeah, that was me. I need to get it out there quicker and a little more accurate so that you can take advantage of that great block by Keyshawn Johnson on the outside.
Canton Arcou checks into the game for Dylan Wynn. Alouettes 5 on that line for now, and they'll send all 5. Harris gets it away. Ajo's got it again, and it's a first down in midfield, his 5th catch of the ball game.
Really nice job by Ajo to come out of his break and not just sit. Don't just sit when you curl. Come out of your break, sit there, and then keep coming forward. Keep coming back towards the line of scrimmage. See how he got leverage on the defender when he did that.
Less than 2 minutes to play, opening half. Riders looking to put together a drive. Back across to Myers again. Ento is there on the tackle. Got about 5 yards on that first down. It'll be 2nd and mid.
Mentioned that the Montreal secondary basically intact. I mean, Ciante Evans, who's a veteran, in there for Deontay Ruffin and Najee Murray, who's played at halfback as well. A little bit of rotation there, but their veteran safety back, Kabion Ento back. Making it a little tougher on this veteran, Trevor Harris.
Harris in trouble, taken down, ball pops out, A.J. Alec goes and gets it, and saves a disaster late in the half.
Yeah, may have saved some more points. I mean, who knows? In fact, in our game, you can kick that ball and dribble it forward. Now, if you kick it out of bounds, it's the other team's ball, but take a look at the rush from Canton Arcou off the edge. Inside pressure from Sutton in the secondary. They love to do this. Different guys coming after the quarterback. Tyrese Beverette's in there as well. Ball's out, and that likely saves some points.
Beverette forcing that fumble. Couch set to kick it away with just over a minute on the clock in the second quarter. This hangs up, taken cleanly by Letcher at the 20. Back to the 35, a return of about 15, 16 yards for 89 in white and blue.
So do you sit on the lead here, or do you be aggressive, maybe take a shot outside?
There's got to be one of those, right?
See if you can get in field goal range before the half and before we send it over to the panel.
Laura Enoch and Milt ready to go. Break down this one and the rest of week 15 in the Canadian Football League. Thriller earlier today.
I wonder what Milt thought when he went out there and he saw a rookie who has never started on the corner.
He didn't stop smiling for 60 minutes. They'll go on the ground here. Tackle broken. That almost gets him into field goal range in the hands of Stevie Scott.
Started to do a little bit of a deep dive into the background of Indiana and Stevie Scott. Remember Curtis Rourke from Indiana, who's a draft pick of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, right now down in the National Football League with San Francisco, but also a running back in Marcus Thigpen.
Down the field, Rambo, wide open, he's got 25 as they went at Benny Sapp. And Rambo found a way in behind him.
Well, there's some looks here where we could do a clinic in coverage and how to go after and test out some young players. And they're trying to figure out now, and you can see Roland Milligan doing his best to say, hey, just relax, make sure you're in your spot. Bob Bethel Thompson's going, okay, here we go.
He's thinking touchdown, enough of this field goal stuff. They'll go back to Scott. Nice cut, busts through, and is just short of another first down with 25 seconds on the clock. Great job by Stephen Scott stepping in for an injured Travis Tice here.
Is it ever? And you know, you like what you see. I mean, he can, yeah. Look at the defensive linemen are just kind of stuck in their tracks. I mean, he's getting more and more comfortable with every carry.
Montreal. He is averaging 7 yards per carry so far in this ball game against a Riders defense that only gives up 75 yards per game on the ground. That's the best number in the league. He's at 63. The team already has surpassed that 75. So a Riders defense that's been pretty much locked down the entire year, taking it on the chin a bit in the first half of this one.
And by the way, those run yards you just mentioned have nothing to do with the corners, or very little to do with the young corners, or inexperienced corners in Exume.
Second and a couple from the Riders 16. MBT pump fake, corner route to the end zone, got it! Touchdown, Philpott again, as MBT continues to victimize Exume.
We will see what the Corey Mace adjustments are to this matchup. But to the right of your screen is the one-on-one, and it's a pump fake from McLeod Bethel Thompson, just with the shoulders on the inside cut, and then Philpott fades away from Exume with the big end zones in Canadian football. He has tons of room.
What are you talking about? Come on, baby.
And I guess Philpott's back completely from that injury.
5 catches, 5 targets, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half of this game for Tyson Philpott.
Well, this is the matchup that McLeod Bethel Thompson has just taken and gone after. Inexperienced, first start, there's the move, and again, Exume is getting caught in a man situation with his eyes on McLeod Bethel Thompson. And I once had a coach tell me, as a former defensive back, that if you're watching the quarterback in man-to-man, when you turn around, you're going to have the best seat in the house for a touchdown.
It's too late.
Because it's too late to catch up.
That drive took 29 seconds. They went 74 yards, 4 plays, and a house call for Philpott. So hang up there. Alford takes it just inside the 20. And he's wrapped up by Scott Hutter with 15 seconds left. So you do talk about adjustments. Defensively, obviously, they'll need to do something. But it's an offense that, outside of that Harris-Keyshawn Johnson touchdown, basically one good drive, really, in the game.
Yeah, you know, I think the Alouettes defense has found their footing again. You know, and again, in fairness to the Alouettes, their quarterback situation has been a bit of a unstable situation, to say the least, and that takes a little bit of the fight out of the dog, I think, of everybody on the team, including the defense. But it looks like they're back. Trevor Harris has to earn everything.
Harris wants to throw here. He's going to send one down the field, and that is batted away. Looking for a Joe, working against a much smaller Lorenzo Burns, but Burns does the job.
A couple of PBUs for Burns already. A Joe with 3 receivers into the boundary. Actually, a 4th receiver coming in to block, but 3 receivers on the route. He's just going straight down the sideline, and Burns this time doesn't have to make up 5 yards. Just has to time his jump, make sure he's playing the football.
He was frustrated he didn't have his 3rd interception of the year. Now they'll give it to A.J. Ouellette. And he is taken down. A little bit of extra pushing and shoving there at the end of the play. 4 seconds on the clock. And this is a Riders team coming in 10-2. They're only 2 losses. They've not lost to anybody except Calgary. So a little bit of a wake-up call here in the first half at home against the Alouettes.
Trevor Harris in his career versus Montreal is 9-5. 9-2 this year, as you mentioned off the top.
And it'll be a knee on 3rd down to end the half. And your thoughts on a bit of a stunner here?
Well, you know, the adjustments on defense, I think more cover 2 man may be able to help Corey Mace in that regard, help his corners out a little bit, get over the top coverage. See what Jason Moss comes up, but it's, you know, has nothing to do with the offense only putting 10 points on the board. So they've got to make their own adjustments.
Big half for Tyson Philpott. He's standing by with Britt Dorff.
Tyson, I don't know if you could have asked for a better half for yourself, and I know that it's been a battle at quarterback the last few weeks for this team, so explain how you've been able to have such good chemistry with MBT out there tonight.
Yeah, man, he's a baller. You know, I know a lot of people wrote him off at the start, but we have faith in him. Man, he's on our team for a reason, and we have all the trust in him to go get us a dub.
Well, he did tell me how much he enjoys the challenge of coming in and facing a #1 team in the league. What have you liked from this group so far?
Yeah, you know, we're just playing Alouettes football finally. You know, I know a lot of people wrote us off with the little slide we're on, but we came to play rain or shine, and we're ready to just keep it going for the second half.
Thanks so much, Tyson.
Appreciate it, Bree.
All right, well, we'll send it off to the dry panel. Laura, hope you guys are enjoying the warmth.
We are. We don't want to rub it in at all, but hey, Britt's got the umbrella. She is covered, and lots of smiles when it comes to those Montreal Alouettes. They are alive in the East Division. We said those Argos right in the rearview mirror, but for McLeod Bethel Thompson, a lot of excitement for him coming back in the lineup. You know, again, this was a team that was just averaging 14 points per game during this 5-game losing skid, looking like a totally different group out there. Are you surprised at how impactful and how different this team has looked with him in there?
Well, with the changes on defense for Saskatchewan Roughriders, and not necessarily surprised. McLeod Bethel Thompson is a guy that, you know, he's proven. He's done it a lot, and he's done it at a high place in a high stage. He's capable of doing just this. And to what Tyson Philpott was saying, no one wrote off McLeod Bethel Thompson. He just wasn't playing to the level that we thought he was going to. And this is the McLeod Bethel Thompson that we know. He's so confident, he's even willing to run the ball. But this is how we thought that he was going to come out throughout the course of the season, and he wasn't able to do that. This is the most calm, confident that he has been all season long, and I'll tell you who else is happy to have him there. Jason Moss, to be able to call the plays the way that he has. He is not being conservative at all. He's opening up the playbook, and McLeod's also answering the call.
Yeah, and coming into this game, we talked about how McLeod had a great opportunity to have a big game because they were starting 2 cornerbacks who have never started in the CFL. Exum, of course, has been in the CFL, but he hadn't played cornerback, and of course, the other cornerback hadn't been in the CFL. And Glenn Suter is a mind reader because he said, I guarantee you Milt Stegall is thinking right now when he plays against a new corner or a new halfback, let's go at it. Even if you have to change the game plan, you want to challenge these guys to see what they're made of. And so far, they haven't been made of much. They've been going at him. Corey Mace has to design a different type of defense if he wasn't have an opportunity to win this game. He can't keep these 2 young corners in man-to-man. Otherwise, Philpott, Mack, and every other one of those other receivers are going to have a big game.
Can't save you in the red zone, Mel. It's one-on-one.
Well, they got to do something. They got to do something because we saw the results they're going to have if they can continue playing one-on-one coverage.
And we saw while Montreal's offense has been struggling the last few weeks, the defense, like more of the onus has been on that group because they've been on the field for longer periods of time. But again, looking renewed and perhaps feeding off this offense and the performance so far, Milt?
Yes, they have. You know, it's good that they were able to come out and create some turnovers. This gives you confidence. Coming into this game, you know, they really weren't playing the best of their defense because they were so tired. But they found a way to make plays. But that right there, That play right there, Enoch, what do you think about it? That was called an interception.
I thought it was a great call. And the tough part is this. When you're watching the replay and you're watching it in slow motion, of course you're going to see the little things that happen, but you got to watch it at full speed. And they made the right call, in my opinion. The defender has to have an opportunity to make a play as well. That's what I thought.
And go ahead. No, I was going to say they're showing it in slow motion. We see it in slow motion. Everything in slow motion is pass interference, so why are they sending it back to the review center if they're not going to look at the slow motion play? Because in slow motion, it's pass interference. Wasn't it pass interference in slow motion?
I mean, there's a lot of
Was it?
There's a lot of flags.
Was it pass interference in slow motion?
In slow motion, but in real time, it wasn't, and they got the call right, in my opinion.
Things are going to get loud when halftime continue. We've got highlights as well as another installment of Straight Fire.
We wrap up Week 15 on the schedule with a wet one at Mosaic Stadium. Down the field, wide open, drops it in there, down to the 10, touchdown Alouettes! Pumps out, Montreal's on it! Dequoy, I believe, hopped on top. 200 in the career of Trevor Harris.
Ticats kicked off Week 15 yesterday. Both teams paying tribute to the late Ticats GM, Ted Gavaya, who passed away yesterday following a lengthy battle with cancer. Ticats with the 3-point lead late in the second. It's Chris Streveler looking to get things going, but he's picked off by Deshaun Amos. A rough first half for Streveler, threw for just 81 yards along with 2 interceptions. The lead now up to 13 in the fourth. Greg Bell, well, he's going to call game. Another big game for Bell, his second straight one with over 100 yards rushing as the Ticats get the win 32-21. We were all Team Ted. Let's go to the Redbacks and Lions. Also played last night. Lions in front here in the first. Nathan Rourke to Javon Catoy. Breaks a couple tackles and fights his way in there. Rourke went 21 of 26 for 308 yards passing as the Lions get back in the win column. And then earlier today, a big one between the Elks and Argos. Dying seconds with Nick Arbuckle out with a lower body injury. It's Jarrett Daggy. Down 2, hits Deshaun Brissett, and that helps set up Lirim Hiralahu for the walk-off field goal. He's staring down a 48-yarder, and it is perfect. Then the fireworks came.
Celebration.
Daggy and Ryan did some words. And Mark Killam, he's not happy about it either. Everyone getting involved. It's getting spicy at BMO. Toronto wins its 3rd straight spicy. And a good segue now to Straight Fire. I haven't done one of these for a while. You guys are all excited. Look at the smiles here. All right, we're going to kick things off. We've got animation for it as well. And first play comes from the OUA, going back old school for me. Tayshaun Jackson for number 1 Laurier. Hesitation here. A little juke. And he's going to find all kinds of open space. And now it's a foot race. Yeah, he is gone. 98-yard punt return for Jackson. Laurier gets the better of Queens in this one to improve to 3-0.
But what is that? What is that, Laura?
It's Straight Fire.
Let's go to the East Side Eagles, U12 football in Winnipeg. Shout out, let's go. Now he's going. But look at Captain Zimmer Schwartz. He chases down the defender, heading for a pick 6 and makes the tackle.
Was that his teammate? They on the same job.
What a great play.
It was straight fire. It was straight fire. All right, what about the Saskatchewan Huskies? Daniel Wiebe with the great catch. Do you know he's a draft pick of the Saskatchewan Roughriders last year? Don't be surprised if you see Sweet Daniel in the CFL next year. That was straight fire.
Last but certainly not least, Jordan Faulkner of Okanagan Suns. He has a rushing TD, a receiving TD. What does he need to complete the hat trick in the first half, gentlemen?
What? Straight fire. Look at him take off, baby.
Make it 3 different touchdowns in one half for Faulkner and Okanagan's big win. Now, if you have a play you want us to see, you could be here featured on CFL on TSN. Straight Fire at bellmedia.ca. Send in your plays. I got to work on the energy because I can't match the two of you.
You know what else is straight fire?
Got to talk from the end.
That's Jack right there, straight fire. Looking like a big bucket
of said Miami Vice. You need sunglasses on and it'll be good to go. All right, well, Montreal Alouettes there in that first half. This This is the first time since week 3 the Owls have scored more than 26 points. But yeah, we'll see what the adjustments are being made by the Riders, and Corey Mace, a big second half, is on deck.
Welcome back to Regina, where the Riders trail by 18, 242 passing yards for MBT in the first half. Head coach of the Riders, Corey Mace, standing by with Bridtor.
All right, Coach, I know you had some major changes. On defense out there tonight, but what are you telling that group to try to instill some confidence in them in the second half here?
Yeah, you know, there's no excuse. They wear the same logo as everybody else. So obviously we got to eliminate the mental errors defensively. And offensively, we got to take care of the football, and we got to create some turnovers here if we're going to give ourselves a chance. But just going to look to see these guys, how they fight here in the second half, and see if we can make this thing a ball game.
Offensively, what do you want to see from Trevor Harris here?
Just continue to move the field. Just take care of the football. You know, just continue to take care of the football, but we need to start scoring some touchdowns. We can't settle for field goals.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Appreciate it.
A lot of football left to be played. Riders are a team that has trailed by double digits multiple times and come back. But there's no doubt they certainly have to play better than they did in the first half.
Yeah, and as the coach mentioned, maybe create a few turnovers on defense. Does that mean he becomes more aggressive and sends more blitz on defense? And does that change some of the in-game management decisions when he says we can't settle for field goals? We gotta put majors on the board here.
They will have the ball to start the second half, and it'll be in the hands of Mario Alford. He's always capable of a big one. They get it back to the 30. He stopped at about the Saskatchewan 33. Here's a look at Trevor Harris in the first half.
Yeah, I would say that this Montreal defense that was ranked among the top defense, one of the top defenses in the league early in the season, and then has dropped off in the last 5 games in that losing skid, has found their footing again. Everything that Trevor Harris had in the first half, he earned. I mean, there was coverage close, and just that one drive for the major, really, to Keyshawn Johnson, that throw.
That was his 200th career passing touchdown. They'll start it on the ground to A.J. Alouette. Finds a little bit of space. There's a flag that came from way back in the secondary.
Probably indicates illegal block on a running play. Darnell Sankey is directing traffic.
The Riders are backing up.
Saskatchewan number 39. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Instead of a carry for almost a first down, it'll be backed up and it'll be 1st and 20. So a little bit of a hole here in the early going.
Yeah, that's a penalty that hits you right in the gut. I mean, there's holding. You saw it right at the point of attack.
Harris will have 4 options out to his right. That's where he goes, but it's his running back, A.J. Alouette. Read well, and he's taken down Robert Kennedy out of North Carolina State with the tackle for the Alouettes.
Yeah, this Alouette defense is now starting to play sort of more conventional looks. I mean, Joe trying to get that block right on Kennedy. Kennedy just sheds it, makes a tackle. That's a great defensive play. Great technique.
Just a yard on a hopeful screen. A.J. Alouette. Flags fly here. Harris stepping up. Gets it away. Far side. Duncan Busby, and he'll spin past Ento and out of bounds.
Like early movement from the defense.
Sure did, didn't it?
However, we've seen a couple go to the call and then the reverse
Offside.
of the call.
Montreal number 91. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Eddie Berglund got a little jump, got to win a little bit ahead of the snap of the football.
So it'll be 2nd and 14. Harris still going to need to find a good chunk here to keep this first drive alive. Tim Croker with a quick reset. Now blows it in. Tommy Neal will slide in behind Harris. Settle in the slot to his left. Harris looks right, throws right, has Myers trying to get away. He will not. Lorenzo Burns found an ankle and hung on, and that'll bring up third down, and Saskatchewan will have to punt it away early in the third quarter.
Yeah, second-year corner Lorenzo Burns is having himself a game tonight. I've already counted a couple of knockdowns in big plays where Trevor Harris was trying to push the ball, look for explosive, and he got back and made the plays on those deep throws, and then that was a sure tackle in the open field.
3 tackles, 2 knockdowns. Beverett leads this defense with 7 tackles in the first half of the game. Couch from his own 25. This one hangs up there end over end into the waiting arms of Fletcher, and he is tracked down on the play. Marion with the special teams tackle for the Riders. MBT, excellent first half in the books for him. I think it's fair to say a rather triumphant return to the lineup for the Alouettes for MBT in the first half.
Yeah, did more than stabilize the position, didn't he? He started slinging it deep, and the accuracy was there. Went after these young, inexperienced corners. Tyson Philpott, big first half, over 200 yards passing in the half for McLeod Bethel-Thompson. Really didn't have any pressure, but at the same time, he was getting rid of the ball quickly.
His season high is 280. He's already at 242. On the ground is where they'll start it. Scott pushes it ahead. First down and more. Takes it over midfield. He's well above 7 yards per carry in this game.
Yeah, and gets more and more comfortable with each carry, and just giving us a little bit of all of his skill set. That ability to kind of make yourself skinny in the hole. We've seen some great jump cuts from Scott. It's a nice average right now.
He's 6'1", about 220. Moves well. MBT on the run. Has that one just shy of a first down. Back into the hands of Philpott. That's his 6th catch on 6 targets.
Let's look at this new young running back out of Indiana. 6'1", 218 pounds. Around the league for a couple of years, but getting a chance to play, and a couple of those jump cuts I talked about, making himself skinny, turning sideways, protecting the football. It's a good sign for a young player. Young and experienced.
Thrust into this role after Travis Tice was injured on the first play of the game. Now they'll get it to Philpott. A little creativity there on the 2nd and short. There's a flag in the secondary as Philpott has enough for a first down.
You need the block. If you're going to run a play like this across the formation, you need the blocks on the edge. That's where the 2 fullbacks come in. You remember we talked about the Dallaire and that interesting catch in the first half. Well, this is where they get paid. This is where they make their money, right here. Getting solid yards on a short yardage run by blocking the edge that you have to block. If you don't get that edge, it's a loss.
All right, the flag was picked up. Originally called an illegal block, but picked up. Back to Scott, trying to get away. And he's able to bounce it out down inside the 35.
The other thing about Stevie Scott that he's got going for him in this game is there's not much video on him in the Canadian Football League. You know, if you were the Saskatchewan defense watching the tablet all week and trying to put together your game plan for your battles one-on-one and your looks in certain situations and how a runner likes to hit the hole, or is he patient? Does he like to drop the pad level and go at you, or does he try to juke you? Not a lot of info yet on Scott.
I made a note of it prior to the game. Montreal has not had a running back finish with 100 yards in a game yet this year. He's at 85 already on 11 carries. It's looking like it's probably going to happen if they keep going to it. Rivas is down. And they look at CJ Rivas. Found himself in the spotlight this week.
Just side of the head, I guess, in the knee of Scott. He's the guy who made the tackle and brought him down. Looks like he'll be okay.
Walking off on his own.
4 stops in the NFL for Stevie Scott. A couple in Denver. A couple of stops in the USFL. XFL as well. And then signed as a free agent in Montreal. And they may have found a keeper here. This is the #1 run defense in the league.
He's taking it to him pretty good. The defense that having a little bit of trouble today, both defensively in the air and on the ground. 2nd and 3. We'll see what they attack here. Scott again. And that is close to a first down. Looks like they've got it.
Small sample size in this league. But you know, you get a feeling for a guy and whether or not he can see it, whether he plays with confidence. I mean, he's played on the big stage, obviously, in college football down south, but he gets up here and he's got to learn the nuance of the game, the motions, the cadence, the angles, how defenses like to attack you.
Tough spot. They originally looked like they had signaled first down, but it's now been spotted just short. We're talking 2 inches maybe. Patterson, the former Rider, back into the game, had a touchdown in the first half. Keeps it this time. Good burst straight ahead. Easy first down. The offense will stay on the field. Oh, they've gone through a few different quarterbacks. Patterson, though, knows this role.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Short yardage, execution. Should be something that he can handle. Alexander wanting to get back. MBT trying to do the job right now. So far, so good tonight. Eating a ton of time off the clock on this drive. Scott again, what a cut!
Yeah, this is he's putting on a show.
He is getting through that first level of the defense almost every time.
Well, it's, you know, what's impressive is his vision and how he at, you know, having very few reps in this league, how he's patient and the vision is there. You know, he took that handoff, waits, little bounce there, vision, saw the pressure coming from the outside, cut back in. Good stuff.
Up to 94 yards on the ground for Stevie Scott III. Bethel-Thompson throwing this time, and that is incomplete. Was looking for Sneed. Exume defending, and Sneed couldn't hang on.
That's one back for Kerfalo Exume, getting his first start on defense, has played 88 games in special teams. We talked about it. I knew Milt would get excited about thinking about playing against rookie corners, or halfbacks for that matter.
Altos Diaz, 31-yarder, 2 of 4 tonight. To push the lead to 21 if he knocks it home, and right down the middle that time. And Montreal pumps that lead up just a little bit more. The largest it's been all night. Altos Diaz with a good hold that time from Zima. Makes no mistake. impressive opening half for this Montreal defense, wasn't it?
Yeah, we mentioned that Trevor Harris didn't have a very big half, and this offense didn't for Saskatchewan. Well, it's because that Montreal defense found their footing again. A fumble caused and forced. Marc-Antoine Dequoy made the recovery. An interception in the first half by Sutton. And I've thought that Burns has had a great game already on the corner.
Harris needs to do something to ignite the offense, ignite the crowd here at Mosaic, and a low throw to Myers. He missed high to Myers earlier, and this one comes in low.
Yeah, it just there's something missing here. There's the jump, and they're taking turns, the Riders. And again, take nothing away from what we just showed you, and that was a great first half by the defense for the Montreal Alouettes. But some of this is self-inflicted.
Second and 10 for Harris. Bouncing around the pocket, in trouble, just pushes it ahead. A.J. Alouette, who fumbles the ball. But he bounces back on top of it, I believe, and dodges a bullet.
Well, you heard Corey Mace when he was talking with Britt on the sideline say that we've got to work on ball security. We've got to focus on it, make sure we're aware of it. This was a scramble situation, and Trevor Harris was going down, so he gets it out there, but with contact coming from both sides, veteran tailback's got to remember to put both arms around the ball, and A.J. Alouette, he gets there a little late. Comes out, but he gets it back.
3rd and 2, Tommy Stevens into the game. Oh, now they've got Harris back in there. Stevens had trotted out. Decided it was a little bit too long to go for it short yardage. So it'll be Trevor Harris who remains in. Needing to find a couple of yards here for a desperate Riders team. A.J. Alouette, that'll work up the middle. First down to midfield. See that aggressiveness that Corey Mace talked about a little bit at the half. Yeah, and Logan Ferlin, the center for Saskatchewan, gets a good push right down the middle. You see number 63, he takes his guy and drives him back. Look at Jamarcus Hardrick on Tyrese Beverette. Now there's a bit of a weight difference there, fairness to Beverette, but that play was well blocked and an important 3 yards. This will be against the Riders.
Procedure. Saskatchewan number 52. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Hardrick, the veteran, backs his team up 5.
$149 starts for Jamarcus Hardrick. Next week will be 150.
Heck of a run. Great career for the right tackle for this club. Harris finds Johnson. Back to the original line of scrimmage.
So that's the problem with that. You know, what seems like almost a nothing penalty is it's only 5 yards. Good teams should be able to overcome it. However, you know, plays like this get your penalty yards back, and now you're in 2nd and long, and that takes a good chunk of the playbook and throws it out. Oh, I think
that's Rob Hill.
One of the officials. Yeah, Rob Hill got a little contact on the sideline. They're bringing in the spare official. Looks like he'll be okay, though. Good thing.
Quick chat. The Riders staff. Second and 10 for Harris. Time in the pocket. Ajo again. And that'll be 2.5 yards shy of what they needed.
I wonder what that magic number is where Tommy Stevens becomes the option and they leave Trevor Harris in, but if they went for it 10 yards ago, they're going to go for it now on 3rd down.
Yeah, this is 3rd and 2.5, 3rd and 3. Smack dab in between the 2 and the 3. AJ Ouellette's been running the ball pretty well so far. Maybe that's why we wouldn't see Stevens in some of these situations. Clock issue here.
Timer, please reset the clock to 4:30, please. 4:30.
Toss 12 seconds back on there.
Which was exactly when we got up in the morning. 4:30.
Airport's quiet at 4:30 in the morning in Vancouver. We confirmed that today.
And I didn't see the refs there. So
here's Harris. Down the field. Drops it in there just outside the 20. Tommy Neal, his biggest play of the ball game, and Saskatchewan in business.
how about that call? On the corner route from that trips receiver to the inside, Tommy Neal. Well-run corner route. Najee Murray on the outside shoulder can't get there, and the size helps him.
One of the better balls of the day from Harris, too. Drops it in there nicely. On the edge of the red zone here at the 20. Montreal's going to bring some pressure. Harris gets it away. Broken up. Kennedy got a hand on it, and then it falls incomplete.
This was one of those show blitzes. They had Murray up on the line of scrimmage, and he actually goes. Sankey goes, but Beverett doesn't. He's dropping under it, as well as Kennedy on the outside. 3 defenders right there. Lucky that wasn't intercepted.
So they're still looking for 10 here for Harris. 3 options out to his wide side right, including Ajo. Montreal sends 6. Harris gets it away. Keyshawn Johnson trying to spin away, but he's taken down by Sutton, and there is a flag on the play.
That'll be a horse collar.
Horse collar?
Yeah. Educated fan base that knew exactly what the penalty was the moment it happened.
Major foul, horse collar tackle. Montreal number 37. Half the distance to goal. We're going unrestricted. We're going to the 1 yard line. First down.
You can't argue that one.
Yeah, major foul is this year is not just half the distance to the goal line. If you're inside that, you know, more than 15 or 20 yards, depending on the penalty length, you go right down to the 1. Use up all the penalty yards until you get to the 1.
Well, a chance for Saskatchewan to maybe find a bit of momentum here. Tommy Stevens into the game, 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. It'll be 1st and goal from the Alouette 1. Stevens pushing it ahead, and he's in. Touchdown, Riders. Just enough. The Alouettes are going to argue it. Well, that was called quickly by the official.
Yeah, it was. Now it'll be automatically reviewed, but it was immediately called by the official to the left of your screen. Sankey hates the call. Beverett thinks that Jason Moss should challenge this, although I don't think I've ever seen a challenge on the goal line in short yardage be overturned because you just can't see where the ball is.
I think on that initial push, Stevens got just enough, and then the Alouettes did push him back a little bit. But an important drive, they'll still need more. Now this could help. 10 plays, 70 yards in just under 5 minutes. Finished off by Tommy Stevens with his 4th touchdown of the year for the home side.
Couple third down gambles on this drive for Trevor Harris, but a drive they had to have. And you heard Corey Mace talk to Britt just after the half saying, yeah, we can't settle for field goals. Not down as much as we're down at home here. That throw to Tommy Neal was a big one. Horse collar added on, put it down on the goal line, and Tommy Stevens finishes it off. So really important drive for the Riders for their peace of mind, if anything.
Well, and it's not going to make a difference if they can't get something from their defense,
yeah,
right?
Got to get a stop here.
They got to get a stop somewhere along the way. They are down 14.
Or as Corey May said, create a turnover, which they've done well all season.
Fletcher. Can he find a block? Struck down from behind. Great hustle by Aaron Patrick to make the play for the Riders. Rained all day, but it is cleared up nicely in Regina for the second half. Trevor Harris, AJ Alouette with their post-game celebrations involving Britt Dort. Britt, explain yourself.
Guys, I had no idea, and I'm not going to lie to you. My life sort of flashed before my eyes. I thought for sure they were going to tackle me in that moment. This all started last season in the West semifinal, where Alouette jokingly, hugged and tackled him after the game as a win celebration, and then they've continued it into this season. Harris told me fans have actually come up to him and said they've been enjoying the antics between the two of them. Their friendship has grown exponentially since becoming teammates last year. Harris telling me that they're Batman and Robin. He told me, don't get me wrong, Ouellette's Batman and I'm Robin. So it made me think, Suits, are you Batman? Or is Nielsen Batman?
That's a good question.
Well, Britt, I'd say I'm Batman.
I don't know. I don't want to be Robin. I don't want to be a cowboy, as Sandville said.
They got a long way to go to get that selling tonight, though.
Yeah, a lot of work to do
from their defense, that's for sure. Neville Thompson, pressure in his face, hit as he throws, and that is incomplete. And it'll be a rare 2nd and 10 for Montreal.
Wow, Bethel Thompson did not like the route from his receiver there. You don't see that very often, where a little bit of a hit as he throws here. I think it's A.J. Allen coming up, and he thought his receiver was going the opposite direction. He turned around and a few things to say.
I think it was actually the safety on Yeka who'd come down to put a little bit of pressure on.
It was on Yeka, yeah.
Well, set 5, MBT stays in the pocket, dumps it off to Philpott, and he will be stopped on the play by Jameer Thurman, and there's a 2-and-out that they desperately needed.
Well, then it stacks. The momentum stacks a little bit. So, yeah, you've got that touchdown drive with a couple of third down plays that you executed correctly. Got the ball in the end zone. That gives everyone a little jump in their step. The defense now has to come out and get the stop, and they do. I'm a little surprised, though, that Montreal didn't go right back to Stevie Scott.
Thought he would have got probably the first touch of the drive. Yeah, he's been outstanding. 94 yards on 13 carries and basically carried them down the field on their last possession. Instead, it will be Zima just outside his own 25. Good kick. Hangs up there for a while. Alford will take it at 15. Mario Alford along the sideline, and he'll step out of bounds with 1 minute and 18 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
When is Mario Alford going to break one? He's been back from injury a couple of games now. He's almost due for a biggie.
Does not have a punt return touchdown yet this year as a kick return. But no punt return touchdown yet for Alford this year.
But like Philpott, it takes a couple of games to get your feet under you and get that confidence mentally more than anything.
Well, can the Riders build on that last drive here? Let's find out. Harris is 17 of 24 for 190, a touchdown and a pick. A.J. Alouette, big hole, pushes it ahead. And he stops just shy of that Saskatchewan 35. It'll be second and short.
Adiemi Berglund and Jamarcus Hardrick were in a one-on-one battle, and two pros just going at it in the run game. Down block, Adiemi Berglund, a little bit of holding from Hardrick, but just a battle going on between O and D linemen there.
Riders left guard Zach Fry is down on the field getting looked at. They've got Daniel Johnson and Braden Knoll also dressed as backup offensive linemen. Looking at the left leg of the 6'5", 288-pound Zach Fry, 16th overall pick out of Western 3 years ago. He's 24 years old. Sandwiched in between Peyton Collins, the tackle, and Furlan, the center.
Yeah, we'll probably see Daniel Johnson replacing him or a shuffle. But what you want to stay away from is one injury causing two changes.
Yeah, Daniel Johnson is out on the field. He'll be the first replacement. Johnson, 6'5", 307. Second year in the league out of Purdue. He's played the left side of the line already this year,
yeah.
right? So Fry is up and walking off. A little bit of a limp.
A.J. Ouellette's at 65 yards. Only had 100-yard game for A.J. Ouellette this season, but been close on 4 others. Over 80 a couple of times, over 90 twice. Didn't get to that magic 100 mark, but
came into this game 148 yards shy of a 1,000-yard season. And he watches on as they look to snap it on a 2nd and 2. Is that an A.J. ball? Yes, it is. Counters it back. Finds some space and rumbles outside the 45 as the Riders march on. See Beverette showing at the line of scrimmage, and then he bails. Darnell Sankey gets caught in the wash, and that's when A.J. Ouellette can bounce it. Get that middle linebacker into the wash and get your running back on the edge. 8th tackle of the game for Beverette. That leads both teams. Harris wants to throw here. Tommy Neal breaks one tackle, pushes it up. And that should do it for the 3rd quarter, as the Riders, who in their last 3 victories had to overcome double-digit deficits. Can they find a way to do it again here at home at Mosaic? They trail by 14 through 3 quarters. Don't go anywhere. Well, the Riders, an uphill battle for sure. They are down 14. How desperate do they have to be with this much time left in the football game? Well, you know, I think you can make an argument for Corey Mace that when he gambled a couple of times on that drive on 3rd down, you know, when he was down 3 scores, that you justify that. You want to create something with your offense. You're going to go for it even though it's 3rd and 2 at midfield. I mean, that can go badly in a hurry quickly. But you know, when at this point now you're down 2 possessions if you're Corey Mace. If the Riders, for a hypothetical, get nothing on this 2nd down, I think you kick. I think you go back to playing sort of conventional wisdom and the field position game, and your defense has just got a 2-0. They'll try to pick up the 5 so they don't need to make a decision here. Harris, deep shot, down the field, lay it out for it. Would have been spectacular. Myers working against Burns, but he could not haul it in.
Yeah, shot down the field. Again, now you're in 2nd and 5. We'll see what Corey Mace decides, and I think he's going to put the punt team out there. But
looks like he is,
because this is the time that he's got to make that decision now. And again, another big play by Lorenzo Burns. He's made 4 or 5 of them tonight. Anytime that almost any time that the Riders have tried to push the ball deep, 20's come up with a play. But I think this is the right decision. Punt the ball, go back to playing the field position game.
a ton of time
In the 4th quarter, and it's only 2 possessions. I mean, we've seen 2 possessions get eaten up in the final 3 minutes.
Joe Couch will let this fly from about his 40. So can they pin Letcher deep here? End over end. Letcher takes it just inside the 15. They are down the field quickly. Short return. Looks like a little bit of a scramble on the far sideline.
A great punt. I mean, anytime you put it that close to the sideline and not kick it out of bounds, I mean, that puts the returner in a corner. So giving their defense a chance to get a second 2 and out in a row here.
McLeod Bethel Thompson only has 13 passing yards in the 2nd half. Had a huge first half. They've done a lot of Stevie Scott on the ground here, which I would probably think they do here.
Right now, yeah. And that was the change in the 3rd quarter. Went after the corners in the first half, had success with the explosives, then went in the 3rd quarter and got Stevie Scott going.
Marcus Fields is down on a knee. We've also been told that Shane Ray and C.J. Rivas are out and will not return to this ball game.
Wow.
Saw it looked like a head issue for Rivas, and Shane Ray was down on a knee on the sideline last time we saw him.
Now, from a defensive line perspective, Corey Mace dresses a lot of D linemen.
He's 10, right?
He's dressing 10 tonight. And he does that for the rotation, keep them fresh, try and keep pressure on quarterbacks. Linebackers, a bit of a different story.
Oh, they've got a really good one in the middle of that defense in Jameer Thurman.
That's what I mean, though. But to lose C.J. Rivas.
There's A.J. Allen as well.
A.J. Allen has had a very good season. See who they put in Rivas' spot.
Marcus Fields to the sidelines. Jaden Dalkey will check into the game. 4th year with the Riders out of the U of A. First and 10 for NBT. Fakes that handoff. Now down the field. Lays one out there for Philpott. Oh, he's got it! And now the race is on. He'll get to the 30, trying to get away, but they'll track him down. And a flag on the play as Philpott does it again. That'll be a new career high for Tyson Philpott.
Major foul, horse collar tackle. Saskatchewan number 33. Be first down at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, Antoine Brooks is going to get a horse collar at the end of this play, but it's the matchup that McLeod Bethel Thompson went after in the first half. Philpott versus Exume to the wide field, and he's been in behind him all night.
Philpott previously was at 150. He's at for a career high. He's at 216 yards in this game. With the 2 touchdowns, he's been throwing the ball 8 times, caught all of them. Monster night for Philpott. You have him in your fantasy lineup. Congratulations on your victory this week.
Well, because some of those were game day decisions, meaning right down to the wire for Devon Campbell and for Marcus Sales, you'd have to be quick on your fantasy to make those trades.
To make the switch up. All right, so Patterson back into the game again. Already has 1 touchdown in this one against his former team. Looking for another one, and he is in. A pair for Patterson. And the Alouettes go on top by 20.
Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will go back at the end of this game and they'll say it was explosives that got us. I'm not suggesting it's completely over just yet. Lots can happen in the final half of a fourth quarter here, but they just haven't had the answer for these inexperienced corners, especially Exume. Not so much for Benny Zapp.
They got him once, but they haven't gone in that direction.
They haven't gone in that direction, but they've just matched up Tyson Philpott on Exume and said, go ahead and go deep. It's not been anything fancy. Not like double moves completely, just a little bit of an inside bend and then down the field.
The lead bounces back to 21 as Patterson takes care of business again, finishing on a drive that was highlighted by a 77-yard strike to Philpott. Well, I don't know what else we're supposed to say about the day for Tyson Philpott.
Well, it's not a surprise that they're testing the inexperience out there, but Philpott looks great. I mean, you know, the question for, I think, Jason Moss was how long was it going to take to him to get back to top speed after the hamstring injury, and clearly he is.
Most receiving yards in a game by an Alouette receiver since 2003, Jermaine Copeland. Became a Hall of Famer this year. Kicking it away from Alford, and it is bobbled but held on to. Not sure how many opportunities Ali Saad will have on a return like that.
Yeah, the returners will come up after and they'll walk over onto the bench there and they'll say, you just go block somebody, and if it hits the ground, don't worry, we'll pick it up from there. Mario Alford going, no, just leave it, just leave it, just leave it, leave it, leave it.
Harris has got to move quickly now. Near side, finds Myers. First down, Riders. Now back to that conversation about there's no more punting now. Right?
Yeah,
Punting is out the window now.
Yeah, now you're back to 3 possessions and you've got to go back to, you know, playing 3-down football, really.
5th catch of the game for Myers. Montreal just sent in 4. Harris is going to check it down to A.J. Alouette, who barrels over Burns, but Burns is able to hang on and then gets a little bit of help from Beverette on the play.
You know, for the record, I still think the last series for Corey Mace to punt was the right decision. I mean, you know, I know it's been that kind of night for Exume on the corner and for Philpott. The possibility of that again is there, obviously, and it happened again. But you put your confidence in your defense to get the stop, and then the field position is there to make it a 1-possession game.
Harris over the middle. Big pop by Beverette, but Tommy Neal hangs on. No worse for wear.
Yeah, these were like my favorite plays for a couple of reasons, is that they're just good football plays. Beverette reads Trevor Harris. Harris pushes Beverette a little wide, and then he brings him back to the middle.
Back to Myers' sideline, and he'll step out of bounds with Burns and Sutton in his face.
So Beverette gets influenced a little bit, and then he comes across and gets the contact on Neal, and Neal hangs on. So both sides played that very well, and it was a good football play all around.
A.J. Alouette is going to step up on the 2nd and short, and he's got it. A few extra as well for good measure, down to the 25. So, look, there's a lot of time left, but the Riders are going to have to score 3 times. They're going to have to go quickly, and they're moving the ball quickly on this drive. There's a sense of urgency there right now with this team.
Right, but at 3 possessions, Montreal now is just a step back a little bit more. They're just a little bit deeper back here.
Batted down. Johnson got a hand on that one, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
I mean, they know better than with 10:57 to go in the game that
that's right. You can't go too soft.
You're not going prevent or anything like that, but you are giving a little bit more room to receivers. You don't want to give up the explosive over the top on one play. If you're going to get beat or they're going to come back down 3 possessions, it's got to be underneath throws, make the tackle underneath, make them grind down the clock.
Harris is at 235 yards through the air, looking to add to it here. Duncan Busby's got a first down before being forced out of bounds with 10.5 on the clock. First and goal, Riders.
Duncan Busby there regrouped in a hurry. Little tempo offense here, as now the clock becomes the enemy as well for the green and white.
Trevor will work from that Montreal 8. A.J. Alouette gets the ball down towards the 5 and just inside the 5 when he stops. Second and goal coming up. A.J. Alouette a little slow to get up. He'll get back into that huddle. Harris hit career passing touchdown 200 earlier in the game tonight. Does he have another one up his sleeve here?
I don't think Burns got the call.
Montreal trying to move quickly there. Najee Murray. Dylan Wynn's down on.
Well, first of all, you know, it looks like we'll see who moved first or who was offside here, offense or defense. But Lorenzo Burns, when they broke the huddle and he was going out to his corner spot, he didn't know the coverage. He was shouting to his teammates and waving his hands to Noel Thorpe. Look over here. He doesn't know what defense they're in. He's like, what do you?
Offside. Montreal number 12. It's half the distance to goal. It makes them a first down.
Well, they get the new set of downs. It is half the distance if it's not a major penalty. If it was a major penalty, they put it on the 1 yard line.
So first and goal from the Montreal 2. I'll let A.J. Alouette slide up. Take it himself, trying to push it through. Can he get home on this one? Does not look like it. Tommy Stevens is just pacing on the sideline right now.
And that's a good stop. Even if the Als end up giving up a touchdown down here, that's a good stop. And you know why? Because it takes what? Maybe 40, maybe a minute 10 off the clock. Because they have to do it again.
Second and goal here. It's going to be A.J. Alouette again. Can he finish it this time? Trying to push ahead. Touchdown, Riders. Alouette finishes it off. And a glimmer of hope with 9 minutes on the clock.
No early movement, no offside. Alouette, yeah, ball across the plane. Wonder about that. If Tommy Stevens may have injured himself.
No, Tommy Stevens is fine.
He was that short yardage where he fumbled.
He did fumble, but
he's not come back out since.
He looked like he was ready to walk out there, and they called him back. So.
He was going to do it whether the coach wanted him to or not.
I was going to say, yeah, he looked like he was ready to go. That was an 11-play, 69-yard drive, just over 4 minutes. Maybe he's a little banged up as they go to A.J. Alouette to finish this one. Well, welcome back to Mosaic, where there was a special presentation at halftime.
Yes, it's that time of year where it's the Plaza of Honor inductees. That's Alex Smith, Sr., coaching at all levels in the province and in pro football. That's Steve Molnar's family. Jeremy accepted on his behalf. And, of course, Chris Best, University of Waterloo, but grew up in Saskatchewan. 2 Grey Cups for Best, 07 and 13.
Great speeches at halftime. Obviously a big honor for everybody involved tonight. Congratulations to all those folks. Father hammers it away. Letcher just inside the 10 is where he takes this one. Back to the 25, now the 30. A little bit of a stumble, and he'll slide up to about the 38. So the Plaza of Honor now getting a fresh look outside Mosaic here.
Yeah, that is very cool. Dave Ridgway, who I played with in 2000, was a holder for Ridgway. There's the new inductees.
Class. And there's my partner right there, Glenn Suter, 1998. I was 17 years old in grade 11, Suits. Congratulations.
Thank you for that reminder.
All right, 8.5 to play. Riders defense got to find a way to get off the field here. McLeod Bethel-Thompson. That's not going to work. All the way down to Philpott, and he continues to torch this defense. Philpott, somebody might want to cover him.
Yeah, he's going to get to 300. And yeah, I mean, there's ways you can vice a receiver, even a wide receiver. Again, I mentioned two-man, where you get a little bit of help over the top for your corners, but Philpott's going to hit 300.
9 catches on 9 targets. He's at 234. And a couple of touchdowns for good measure. McLeod Bethel-Thompson's at 350. Now they'll give it to Scott. And Scott's going to go over 100 yards on the day on the ground. And that is the first 100-yard rushing game from an Alouettes back this season. He wasn't even listed as the starter tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he'll be the starter down the road if he keeps doing this. And I saw him after one run in the first half sit on the bench. Our cameras followed him over there, and he turned around and he said, well, fresh legs. Because we're past the midway point here in the season, so legs start to get a little bit heavier. Not for the new guys.
He's just getting started. Now they'll give it to Sneed. Sneed with one block, then runs out of room. And is taken down. Putting a little bit of a headlock there by DeMarcus Fields, who's returned to the game. Left a few moments ago, but seems to be all right.
Yeah, and you know, with Stevie Scott, as I mentioned earlier, you know, one of the things we've got to see is can he block well in the passing game? But he hasn't been tested in that regard tonight because McLeod Bethel-Thompson has picked apart this makeshift secondary for the Riders so quickly. There's been no pressure on him. I mean, he's getting the ball in the shotgun, letting it go right away.
34 sacks from this Riders defense this season. They haven't got to MVT tonight once.
And the one thing you know about McLeod Bethel-Thompson, and he can become a great passer, and I mentioned all week long, he can throw for 400 in the blink of an eye because he's a great thrower of the football, but you know defensively where he's going to be. He is going to be right dead in the pocket at about 7 yards deep. So do your stunts, do your blitzes, do whatever you got to do to get to him. But I don't think it's on the D-line tonight for the Riders because, you know, you need a couple of seconds of coverage. And the back end for the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight has not given those 2 or 3 seconds to the D-line to get home.
Yeah, there's been much bigger issues than those guys on the defensive line for the Riders. Let's sort this out here.
During the play, there's an illegal low block by the defense, Saskatchewan number 33. This penalty will be assessed 10 yards from the previous spot, and it's first down.
That is Antoine Brooks Jr., who was another late addition to the roster tonight as they had to shift some things around ratio-wise.
Yeah, you can't on the lead blocker, you can go in and create a pile there, but you got to stay high.
Stevie Scott stands next to MBT. David Dallaire in the game at fullback as well. And they'll give it to Scott, pushing ahead. Baldonado hops on his back, takes him down with the help of Malik Carney.
But let's be clear. I mean, this was a desperate situation for Montreal. Coming in tonight, 5-game just to reset for a second on a 5-game losing skid. Had to snap out of that in a hurry. which is why McLeod Bethel-Thompson was taken off the injured list early.
Timeout, Saskatchewan. Timeout, Saskatchewan.
By the Riders allows Pill Country to dive into it a little bit more. You know what else this does? This performance from MBT might stop the urge to push Davis Alexander back a week or two early, if McLeod Bethel-Thompson can build off this with his offense.
For sure, because, you know, he was 1-4 coming in as a starter in Montreal. So, you know, it wasn't like, I guess what I'm saying is there was some question as to what he would look like tonight, McLeod Bethel-Thompson, coming off the injured list. But you're right, and I'm not trying to suggest that Jason Moss was going to rush Davis Alexander back, but, you know, 5 in a row can't go to 6 in a row.
Huge game next week for them, too. Third and final meeting of the year between the Alouettes and Argos in Toronto next Friday night. That'll be a massive one. We'll be there for that one. 2nd and 5. They're going to bring everybody. MBT gets it away. Finds Mack, who's down to the 5. And they're knocking on the door once again.
Soon as Mack sees, Susan McLeod Bethel-Thompson sees this blitz coming, and it's Onyeka from the safety spot, where does he go? Now, I know James Morgan might have a bright future, and the quarterback that's been in the last 2 starts, but he's not making that decision that quickly. I see the safety low. I see the safety blitz. I'm going right where he blitzed from.
372 yards for McLeod Bethel-Thompson in his return to the lineup. Now he's going to dump it off. Wrapped up though. Read well. Broke it up. Sneed. Nowhere to go on that one. Caleb Sanders makes the play for the Riders.
Even a field goal here, though, pushes it to 3 possessions.
Yeah, they're already in a spot here to really seal this away.
I'm sure the play call from Jason Moss will...
Scott out in the flat to the right of MBT, looks to the left, throws in that direction, finds a man, ball pops out, and then it's hopped on at the end of the play by Donnie Ventrelli. The right guard hops on the ball and slams it home for the Alouettes.
The ruling on the field is that we have a catch, a fumble, and a recovery by Montreal in the goal area. Touchdown.
Ventrelli gets a touchdown?
Yes, he does. Everything turning up Montreal tonight.
When you see Stevie Scott go out of the backfield, it's for a pre-snap read. The hit was from Roland Mulligan, or Milligan. Roland Milligan on that hit, along with A.J. Allen. Ball's out, and it is a touchdown.
Safe to say, first of the career for Ventrelli.
I don't think we have to dig deep in the stats to find whether or not that's his first. This is his 14th start.
Yeah, that's his first touchdown.
That's his first touchdown.
And Montreal once again to push this up to a comfortable 21-point cushion. What a back-breaking drive for the crowd here at Mosaic. 7 plays, 64 yards, and a touchdown for an offensive lineman. If you were wondering how things were going for the green and white tonight. Well, the next time we see the Alouettes, they'll be playing the Argos in Overdrive, taking their talents on the road. Not far on the road, but they're heading to BMO. Coach Hayes leading the way.
Players coach, I heard. Players coach.
Noodles, former Edmonton Eskimos at the time employee. O-Dog.
I think O-Dog's a special teams expert.
And CFL on TSN cheerleader extraordinaire Luke Wilson will be there as well as part of that Overdrive crew. We're gonna have a lot of fun with those guys.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
They'll be doing their show.
And a big game for the Argos and Als.
It's a monster game now.
Monster game now.
taken back just outside the 30. Philpott with 238 receiving yards tonight. Record for a Canadian. Bob Simpson, 258 yards back in 1956. And a look at Jake Mayer to wrap this one up. And that's what he's doing.
Yep.
Many have already headed home here after a wet day at Mosaic. Jake Mayer won his only start. Had over 200 yards, touchdown, no picks in that victory. And he moves it quickly. Duncan Busby breaks a tackle. He'll take it down inside the 50.
And now the Montreal defense is basically in prevent.
Now they're sitting back.
Now they're back. And look at the room you see there. Ento tried to steal one, thought it was going to a JoJo. Well, you can do that when you're up as much as they are right now.
Cheat a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Try to pad the stats.
Mayer, a good throw, finds Myers. Myers all the way down, end zone. Touchdown. How about that? Dante Myers takes it home. And Jake Mayer strikes quickly. Well, there's prevent, and then there's just stop playing. Just allow them to score. Yeah, that's... Montreal's got to quickly dial it back up and find the middle ground there, because like a lot of white jerseys all of a sudden thought this one was completely over. Seventh touchdown of the season for Myers. That's the team lead among receivers. And with 2:50 on the clock, back to a 14-point game. Everybody who took the over, a big smile on their face tonight. And we are inside 3 minutes at Mosaic. Jake Mayer wastes no time getting involved in this football game. Well, a little bit of work left here to wrap up week 15, but week 16 locked and loaded for you. Montreal, Toronto, we were just talking about that. Overdrive will be in the house. First half of a doubleheader, BC Calgary, massive game in the West. And then Winnipeg versus Ottawa to kick off a doubleheader on Saturday. Edmonton rolling into Hamilton to take on the Ticats.
Ottawa and Edmonton desperately trying to stay in the race.
Those are pretty much must-wins next week.
Almost, yeah.
All right, so we're set up for an onside. Riders down 14. Can Lothar pull out a bit of miracle here? He's going to drive it low. Straight out of bounds. And a flag. Nobody touched that one.
Yeah, Lothar, the idea on that kick is to try and hit it hard against the ground, end over end, and at one point...
Legal kickoff out of bounds. Saskatchewan. Montreal take the ball, we're went out of bounds, first down.
You know, at one point in the progression of that ball, it's supposed to hit the turf and bounce super high. And this one just skips out. And maybe it was because of the water and the rain all day long, but it's usually on that second bounce. It skids and then it hits and bounces high. Gives this guy a chance, but...
Well, we were wondering if they might kick it deep and try to play defense.
Yeah, I thought there was still time to possibly do that, but they haven't been able to stop this offense.
Here's Scotts. This is what he's done all night. Gets about 7 yards. Montreal has scored 45 points tonight in their previous 5 games combined. 5 games combined, they only scored 68. And they have 45 tonight.
And they got a quarterback with 100 games under his belt. Not 100 starts, but 100 games in the Canadian Football League.
And 100 touchdown passes now, too.
And 100 touchdown passes tonight. And a healthy star receiver in Tyson Philpott in combination with, and I'll bring it up for the last time, 2 very inexperienced corners in the Saskatchewan defense.
You know what? It's funny because before we found out that they weren't going to be playing about 45 minutes before the game. And we sort of talked about it. We're like, do you think they'll attempt to take advantage of it?
but they went right after it all night long.
Well, my answer to you in that question was, oh yeah.
They're gonna get after it.
Oh yeah, and especially with a veteran like MBT. I mean, but there were a couple of those deep ones to Philpott where he was wide open. I mean, 5 yards open.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably not going to finish with 238 yards unless you're wide open a couple of times. He was tonight. 2nd and 3 as the clock ticks for McLeod Bethel-Thompson. The best he's looked as an Alouette, for sure. Scott pushing it ahead, and he's been a backbreaker all night. Another first down for Montreal.
Real balanced attack. I think that Montreal defense has now found its footing again. But their secondary intact, linebacking core looks good. Defense relatively healthy. Sean Lemon didn't start tonight. He wasn't on the roster, but he will be available down the road. Sean Oakman also on the injured list, but defense played one of their better games over the last 5 tonight.
Scott again. Cuts it back upfield, dives ahead. They'll give him about 3 yards on that one.
And what's the old saying? One man's misfortune is another's opportunity. And I would say that was what happened here with Travis Tice and Stevie Scott. Now, hopefully Tice is okay and he'll be back, but he got nicked and went down. There he is.
Very first play of the game.
Yeah, very first carry of the game, and they found something in Stevie Scott.
Well, Tice has looked good at times. He gets involved in the return game a little bit, but he has not been able to do what Stevie Scott did tonight. So you'd have to think another opportunity is lined up for number 8 on the Alouettes. Back to him again with time coming off the clock. It'll be 3rd down, and Maltos Diaz will trot out for another one.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Scott. I mean, really like his vision.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
I have to say, a little surprised with his patience. You know, and again, over 100 yards rushing, but this is the #1 rush defense in the league.
If I recall correctly, there was some good buzz about him last year in camp for Montreal.
Oh yeah,
and it just takes a little while to get an opportunity.
And
right?
you just don't know until you know. I mean, until they actually get a chance to be out there and understand the different rules and the difference in the game and the different amount of players on the field and the size of the field and all of those nuances that have to be learned when you're young coming up from the States. And you just don't know. But we know now that he's, boy, a lot of nice runs. And some of those nice runs were only 7, 8, 10 yards, but you could see it.
Well, and that's a team that is 8th in the league in rushing, so they've lacked that for most of the season. They found it a little bit here tonight against what is usually a pretty good rush defense. Maltos Diaz knocks another one through, and the lead grows back up to 17.
Yeah, and against the run, the Rider defense, of the 12 guys on defense, the 2 corners are the final 2 that get involved in the run. they're the last 2 of the 12.
You hope they don't have to be called in at all.
If you need your safety in the 2 corners to make tackles in the run game, that running back's picked up a lot of yards. So you can't blame the inexperienced corners for the run yardage tonight from Stevie Scott.
Scott's up to 120. That is a season high for the Alouettes. Now McLeod Bethel-Thompson, 369 yards, 2 touchdowns.
You know, I do CKRM radio all week, and they were like, what about McLeod Bethel-Thompson? What do you think you're going to say? I said, if you go to sleep on him, he's a 400-yard guy, just like that. I mean, that's what he can do because he's such a great pure passer. He's got every throw. He knows when to put touch on it, when to put it on a line. how to lead the receiver. I mean, obviously at this level, they all know that, but he's a pure passer.
They kept him clean tonight, too.
Yeah.
And when you do that, he can hurt you. Alford will return it out beyond the 45. No sacks tonight for Riders defense that has 3 of the top 10 in the league leading category right now.
Yeah, no sacks and no pressures. Like,
they didn't flush him out of the pocket.
It wasn't even like he was throwing around the rush or feeling a little pressure and having to negotiate the pocket or anything like that. He was just standing back there throwing bombs away.
Well, low-key shout-out to the offensive line of the Alouettes tonight.
Yeah.
120 yards on the ground, and you kept your quarterback clean. So, good night for them.
Good point.
Jake Mayer, who came in and threw a touchdown pretty much immediately, on the run, finds Ajo. This has been a big game for him, too. Kind of getting back into the groove of the Canadian Football League. He's got 7 catches for 70 yards.
It's going to be fun watching his career. It really will. I think he's a special athlete.
Trevor Harris watching on. The Riders about to lose to a team not named the Calgary Stampeders for the first time this season. Back to Ajo. Big target for these quarterbacks.
That's why I think he's going to be a fun athlete to watch this year. And as he grows in that position, I mean, plays with great confidence, brings enthusiasm. That's sort of intangibles.
Just 23 years old as well.
But if you stood beside him, his hips would be up around your armpits because he's got that top end speed, and sometimes when he runs those curl routes, it looks like the ball just disappears in his hands, almost like the Kenny Lawler hands, where the ball just kind of disappears and melts underneath him. And the Riders should get Sam Emilus back very shortly, according to Corey Mace. They should get Keon Schaefer-Baker back very shortly. Will help their receiving corps.
Well, they've had some guys really step up. Season one of them not playing tonight, and Lovastelli. Mayer bouncing around the pocket. Can he find somebody? He's just going to dump it off. Keyshawn Johnson makes a move. Stays on his feet. Picks up a first down for Saskatchewan.
See that if you're Corey Mace. The top receivers getting nicked there at the end of this game.
Keyshawn Johnson closing in on 1,000 yards. Doesn't look like he'll hit it tonight, but likely when they come back from the bye. Here's Anderson. He's hammered.
Yeah.
It was Richards who came across and got him. Looks like Burns might have taken some friendly fire there as well.
Yeah, they're both down. Taking a minute to get up. It's one of those sandwich hits. Oh, baby. Real nice game by Lorenzo Burns in the secondary for the Owls. I really do, for all the defensive backs listening, I really do try to represent and point out when DBs have big games, because they're often kind of forgotten back there until they get beat.
Listen to this guy. Listen to the former DB.
But I really think, well, you saw Wesley Sutton's pick, which is an interesting one to debate, and just the use of slow-mo and replay and things like that. I think in the end they did get it right. I mean, it's a race to the ball, and when we looked at it in slow-mo, we bought into the fact that the ball didn't arrive before the contact. But in real time, that's bang bang. And you as a DB have a right to the football. You can go to the ball. You just can't go through the receiver.
Well, that's what they would have looked at, right? Because he didn't go out of his way to make contact. He was playing his body on the ball. Exactly. There happened to be contact.
Yeah, they both sort of hit as they went. So yeah, let's give those DBs a little love back in the back end there.
Richards is fine. He's off the field. You want to talk about DBs a little bit more?
No, I'm good.
There's Anderson bringing the crowd what's left to their feet. He's had a chance to shine a little bit of times through the year and taken advantage of it. Well, for Saskatchewan suits, it's a bye, and then they get Edmonton. During the bye, see who they can get healthy, see how they can. I was just thinking for Regina Radio.
Yep.
Having this loss going into a bye.
Oh.
This is gonna. Oh. I mean, it'll be 10-3, but still, you know how people react in the market,
get it
football
going.
mad market like this.
Let's get it going. Let's open those lines.
That'll be a fun couple of weeks, I'm sure.
There won't be many hello first-time callers.
Oh, no.
There'll be repeat callers.
The regulars. This is what I've been saying all year. You guys just weren't listening to me. Second and goal for Mayer. Lays one out far side. Burns is happy. Johnson never really had a play at it.
This is an important win for the Owls. Very important win for the Owls. Stops a 5-game skid. Gets them back on track. Gets them back believing. Helps that they have a veteran quarterback that was pulling the trigger. But
when it's just their second win without Davis Alexander all year.
Yeah, and against the top team record-wise in the league.
I think the group thought that they needed it, but it'll help them believe that, hey, no matter who's in there at quarterback, go win a football game. And now Ento steps in.
I think Ento took that.
And takes that away. The officials are still waiting for a ruling on the play. And it is going to be taken away by Ento.
Ball tipped at the line. Yeah,
the ruling is an interception on the field. First down, Montreal.
Yeah, it wasn't secured.
You know, in a fitting way, that's
about
kind
how
of
it's
summarizes
gone.
this night. Well, Montreal now will look to build off this. They get Toronto in Toronto next Friday from a race for second in the East. That's a massive game between these two clubs, both coming in off of victories. Let's give you a look at the updated standings right now.
Well, this is why it's so important this coming weekend to these two teams here have got to figure out a way to stay in the fight. Toronto and Montreal. Now you're looking at in the East, Hamilton is starting to separate a little bit, but in the East, you know, Montreal's still in striking zone for Toronto. That's why that game is so important in the West, and the crossover position alive and well. So, and it's getting a little cooler, and we're getting the odd rain day, and the run game becomes more important. Big win for Montreal tonight.
And they found that run game a little bit tonight with big Stevie Scott, 120 yards. An important victory for Jason Moss. McLeod Bethel-Thompson returns to the lineup, finishes just shy of 370 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And a monster game from Tyson Philpott. 9 catches, 238 yards, 2 touchdowns. And when it was all said and done, a convincing victory for the Alouettes, putting the rest of the league on notice that they can hang and dominate some of the big boys across the Canadian Football League. A fun one here at Mosaic. 48-31, your final. Thank you very much for joining us. For Britt Dort, Glenn Suter, I'm Dustin Nielsen saying good night.